Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Konoha I Can Synthesize Ninjutsu. Chapter 51. Akamichi Choji looked at Wang Li incredulously. Although he knew that Wang Li could use the doubling technique, he could raise his arm strength to an incredible level. But the most important thing is that now Wang Li doesn't use doubling technique at all. Moreover, he was calm and relaxed, letting the Buddha do a trivial thing. Wang Li, I know you are very powerful, and you are more than a little bit better than me. But the guy in front of you should be close to Jonin's strength. Solving him will not happen in a short while. So you should go first, the ninja as the first criterion just to complete the task. It will take a long time to solve him. Wang Li smiled disapprovingly. Then, with both feet hard, he jumped out like flying. When Jirobo saw Wang Li rushing over, his eyes became solemn, then he slapped his hands hard, and then pressed hard on the ground. Earth style, earth shore return. In an instant, a wall was erected on the ground, directly blocking Jirobo. Ding dong, identify ninjutsu, earth style, earth shore return. Wang Li smiled disapprovingly, holding up countless chakras in his right hand and quickly converging on his palm. Soon a light blue ball formed. Look at your earth style, earth shore return, can you stop me from taking a shot? Wang Li said, pushing hard with one hand. Boom. The earth wall shook, and Rasengan kept sinking in the earth wall. You want to deal with me even with this ninjutsu? So naive. Jirobo smiled triumphantly. At this moment, countless spells appeared on Jirobo, and even the color of his skin began to change. Guk, kid, wait to die. Halfway through Jirobo's words, he suddenly noticed that there were numerous cracks like spider webs on the wall in front of him. And the cracks grew bigger and bigger, and soon spread across the entire wall. No, what kind of ninjutsu is this? It can beat earth shore return like this. Jirobo's heart twitched, hurriedly trying to dodge. Boom, the walls spattered, and rocks fluttered everywhere. Among the debris of the stone, a light blue ball kept approaching Jirobo. Do not. Jirobo was so scared that he forgot to run away, and his hands subconsciously wanted to block it. Boom. Rasengan hit Jirobo's chest accurately. Rasengan, spinning at high speed, knocked Jirobo's fat body into the air. While flying and spinning in the air, after knocking down 5 or 6 trees, he smashed heavily on a boulder. But Jirobo's entire body was plunged into the boulder, and he didn't know his life or death. Akamichi Choji looked at the scene in front of him incredulously, not even knowing that the red pill he held in his hand fell to the ground. Before Akamichi Choji tried his best, he lost to Jirobo. But Wang Li was just a ninjutsu, and he completely knocked Jirobo into the air. For a while, Akamichi Choji felt frustrated. Finally know why so many girls like you, so handsome and so good at ninjutsu, even a girl will look at you more. Watching Akamichi Choji say this seriously, even if Wang Li's face is thick, he blushes. But you said before that you want to buy me a barbecue, but it hasn't come true yet. Wang Li staggered and almost fell to the ground. It's not that Wang Li is stingy, but Akamichi Choji is so edible. If you really want to let him eat, he will definitely go bankrupt. No doubt. Wang Li quickly coughed twice, with a serious expression on his face. Choji, leave this guy to you, I will continue chasing Sasuke. Okay. Sasuke will definitely be recovered if you are there. Akamichi Choji nodded and said seriously. Wang Li ran quickly, unwilling to stay for a moment. After running for about a few minutes, I saw many marks left on the trees. Keep up, we are waiting for you in front. Wang Li smiled when he saw this scene, and his heart was warm. When I first saw Hokage, I couldn't help tears rolling in my eyes when I saw this scene. Had it not been for someone nearby, it would have flowed down almost desperately. Wang Li hurriedly speeded up his journey. About 10 minutes later, Wang Li saw a big spider standing on a huge spider web through the gap between the trees. And beside that giant spider, there was a person standing with 6 arms. Gatong Maru is not the same as Jirobo. Jirobo is a simple-minded guy who can only use brute force. In the 4th place in the sound of Shinobu in the strength of the bottom. On the other hand, Gatong Maru is different. After the curse was imprinted, the whole person became like a big spider, and the spider silk spit out from his mouth was astonishing. Even with 2 cows, they are constantly pulling. And under the spider web is Hyuga Neji. Just like a butterfly falling into a spider web, it is hard to escape from the sky and earth through constant struggle. But fortunately, Hyuga Neji's gentle fist just restrained the spider silk and could still struggle for a while. Spider web, watch me burn you directly. Wang Li snorted coldly and kept making seals with his hands. Fire style. Great Fireball Technique. The Great Fireball Technique is the foundation of fire ninjutsu, and it is a must-learn technique for the Uchiha clan. The fire size of the Great Fireball Technique is related to each person's chakra amount. With Wang Li's amazing chakra, his eyes suddenly turned into a sea of flames. Looking at the raging fire in front of him, Wang Li rubbed his nose triumphantly. I'm not only good at grilling fish, but I also have a good method of grilling spiders. It seems that I can open a barbecue stall in the future, and the business is definitely so good. Halfway through Wang Li's words, he suddenly paused. I'm going. Forgot Neji. Wang Li was anxious. Suddenly a khaki boomerang flew over, extinguishing all the flames along the road. Looking around, a lot of spider webs were burned at this time, and Gatongwan's body was covered with burns, emitting a threefold fragrance of chicken. Boy, you attacked me unexpectedly, Gatongmaru roared, and then kept spitting out the spider web from his mouth. Be careful, this is not an ordinary spider web, you must not touch it. Hyuga Neji exclaimed anxiously while panting. And on the ground next to Hyuga Neji, there is a huge circular mark, obviously just using revolving heaven. Wang Li let out a long sigh of relief. Just now I was still worried about whether Hyuga Neji was directly burned to death by Great Fireball Technique. It seems to be worrying too much. After Wang Li wiped the cold sweat on his forehead, he suddenly found that Gatongwan's spider web was already in front of him. On the other hand, Gatongmaru's face was already showing a triumphant smile. Caught you. Gatongmaru's spider silk is not only strong, but also very tough. Even if it is cut with sharp kunai, it is difficult to cut. But at this time, the corners of Wang Li's mouth rose slightly, and a light blue chakra appeared on his palm. Then chakra was gradually elongated and turned into a long sword. With a light wave of Wang Li's hand, Gatongwan's spider web was instantly cut in half. You said who you caught. I was in a daze and troubled to say it again. Gatongmaru gritted his teeth and looked at Wang Li. Earlier, Hyuga Neji came to an 8 trigrams 64 palms, and almost died by sealing the acupoint. Fortunately, the pores secrete a sticky gold armor in time, blocking a deadly set of attacks. Now there is another teenager who can cut off the spider silk, which immediately makes Gatongmaru uncomfortable. I hope you, kid, can play with me more. As soon as Gatongmaru's voice fell, he suddenly realized that Wang Li was already in front of him. The body secreted mucus subconsciously, and the body was covered with a layer of khaki armor in an instant. Useless kid, my armor is made of special slime, you definitely can't break it. Halfway through Gatongmaru's words, Wang Li waved his palm. The pale blue chakra sword passed through the body, and a sharp pain spread throughout the body. Gatongwan frowned in pain, and quickly moved away from Wang Li. How did you do it? My armor is completely unbroken. Wang Li raised his hand and showed the long sword in his hand to Gatongmaru, with a sardonic smile on his face. I am just a chakra scalpel, which can directly cut the organs under the body. By the way, I learned this trick from Yakushi Kabuto. Master Kabuto. Gatongmaru's face became more and more ferocious, and it took a long time to calm down. His face returned to his previous confident expression. Boy, you two are both melee physique type ninjas. Now I only need to keep a distance, and I can easily abuse you. Gatongmaru sneered, and began to seal his hands. With a burst of smoke rising, a huge spider appeared above Wang Li's head. Hyuga Neji hurried to Wang Li's side and said worriedly, Wang Li-kun, you are the one Hokage specified to protect. Leave it to me. Wang Li gave a wry smile. Hyuga Neji is the branch house of the Hyuga family, although it seems to be in a good position. But in the eyes of the Hyuga clan, he is just a bodyguard. Since childhood, he has been a bodyguard, protecting Hyuga Hinata, the princess of the Hyuga clan. But now he is still a bodyguard, protecting Wang Li. Wang Li chuckled. Although he couldn't say much, he felt worthless for Hyuga Neji in his heart. Neji, if you want to solve the difference between the clan family and the branch house, only you can infinitely improve your strength. When you have enough strength, I will unlock your caged bird. Hyuga Neji trembled and looked at Wang Li with moving eyes. Wang Li smiled slightly and walked to the front of Hyuga Neji, and said to Gaidongmaru. You said that I am a ninja of physique type, you are afraid that you have some misunderstandings about me. Gaidongmaru was stunned for a moment, and hurriedly cut through the giant silkworm chrysalis produced by the spider. For a while, the little spider fell down like rain. Wang Li, now you are standing behind me, and I will protect you. Hyuga Neji's eyes showed a touch of emotion, and then he stood in front of Wang Li. Hyuga Neji's body gradually bent down, his hands opened, one high and the other low. 8 trigrams 64 palms. Ding dong. Body recognition. 8 trigrams 64 palms. If you haven't learned Gentle Fist, you can't seal the cave. The fast palms killed all the spiders that fell, but the speed at which the endless spiders fell kept increasing. Hyuga Neji's speed gradually began to fail to keep up. Wang Li hurriedly assumed Hyuga Neji's previous posture, and then gave a light voice, 8 trigrams at $64. Wang Li didn't call this because of a prank. It's just that this spider silk must be cut with a chakra scalpel. If you use your hands directly, it will easily become entangled. Finally unable to move. But since it is a chakra scalpel, it is a bit inappropriate to call yourself 8 trigrams 64 palms. Hyuga Neji looked at Wang Li incredulously. 8 trigrams 64 palms must cooperate with Byakugan to maximize it, so few people except Hyuga will learn it. However, Wang Li's skill is completely different from his first use, and in some places he is even better than himself. For a while, Wang Li aroused Hyuga Neji's eagerness, his body was lowered, and his rotation was even greater. 8 trigrams 128 palms. For a while, Hyuga Neji's speed doubled, and the speed of his hands was so fast that there were afterimages. Ding dong. Body recognition. 8 trigrams 124 palms. The corner of Wang Li's mouth rose slightly. But Wang Li doesn't plan to continue using 8 trigrams with 124 palms. Anyway, at least give Hyuga Neji some face. Besides, Wang Li's goal has been achieved, and there is no need to continue. Okay, it's him. Wang Li opened Sharingan and slowly raised his head, facing Gaidongmaru's eyes. Gaidongmaru froze in place for a moment. The body is as if it is filled with cement, but it can't move. Illusory magic. The same eyes as that kid. Gaidongmaru said unwillingly. Without the operation of Gaidongmaru, Big Spider began to feel confused. The small spiders in the silkworm chrysalis also stopped falling. Wang Li and Hyuga Neji got down immediately. Illusory. Is it that simple? Hyuga Neji's mouth twitched. He worked desperately. A few kuwu even Gaidongwan was inserted behind him without even touching it. But Wang Li just controlled Gaidongmaru with a simple illusion. For a while, Hyuga Neji began to doubt his life. It's not over, it's just controlling him. Killing him still needs you to make up. Wang Li said lightly, letting the Buddha do something unsurprising. The little spider that was originally nesting in the pupa began to crawl out and onto Gaidongwan's body. The little spider took a bite on Gaidongwan's body. The pain stimulated the nerves of Gaidongwan, and immediately freed from the illusion. Boy, you lost the best time to kill me, then I will let you die. For a while, the curse marks on Gaidongmaru's body continued to spread. Originally, half of his body was covered with curse marks, but now his whole body is covered with curse marks. Even the body began to change. What's the situation? Hyuga Neji looked at Gaidongmaru blankly. With the transformation, the chakra on Gaidongmaru's body began to increase sharply, nearly several times more than before. Curse imprinting. But there are some side effects, which are huge loss to the body. Wang Li smiled disapprovingly. After all, the curse imprinted in front of Sage body is not worth mentioning at all. After Gaidongwan turned into a curse pattern, he spit out a mound of muddy mud from his mouth. The mucus slowly solidified and turned into the shape of a bow. This bow has a 100% hit rate. No matter where you escape, I can shoot through your heart with one arrow. So, show off your cute expressions before you die. 100% hit rate. I want to see how good your so-called 100% hits are. With a smile on his face, Wang Li kept playing with a handful of golden kunai in his hand. Boy, I want to see how hard your mouth is. Gaidongmaru snorted coldly, his face was full of discomfort. Then the khaki mucus was spit out again in his mouth, which soon turned into an arrow. Then start with you. Kidomaru held the spider silk with 4 hands, 2 held the arrow string, and both feet stepped on the arrow. Pull the entire bow and arrow to the full moon. Wang Li threw away the kuwu in his hand. However, due to the small spider's block, the trajectory shifted and landed on the tree behind Kidomaru. Ha ha ha, it's useless, just wait to die. As Kidomaru released his hands, the arrow flew straight towards Wang Li. And arrow carried an aura of destruction. All the locations that pass by are torn apart. Seeing this situation, Hyuga Neji hurriedly stood in front of Wang Li, preparing to block this revolving heaven-destroying arrow with his body. Wang Li shook his head helplessly, and grabbed Hyuga Neji's shoulder with one hand. Flying Thunder Technique. As a golden light flashed, Wang Li and Hyuga Neji disappeared. And the arrow fell on the place where Wang Li stood just now, and a huge hole was smashed into the ground. How is it possible? People, your so-called 100% hit is just that you didn't meet someone fast enough. And you are not worth mentioning in front of my speed. As Wang Li said, he patted Hyuga Neji on the shoulder. 8 trigrams 128 palms. Hyuga Neji is close to Kidomaru, and his palms are like raindrops, constantly falling on Kidomaru. Although Kidomaru kept giving birth to armor. But Hyuga Neji's speed is really fast, the armor was just born, it was instantly shattered. 128 palms are over. The acupuncture points on Kidomaru's body were all sealed. Without chakra's support, the curse status gradually faded, and Kidomaru also fell directly from the tree. Hyuga Neji slumped on the branch. Just need to be hit by 8 trigrams 128 palms, no matter how powerful the opponent is, chakra will not be able to mobilize at all. Unless you run into a plugin. For example, Uzumaki Naruto. Wang Li-kun, I was a bit unconvinced before I lost to you. After today, I will know you again. Tenten and Hinata will be very happy by your side. Wang Li looked at a serious Hyuga Neji and couldn't help but smile awkwardly. Okay, I'll leave this spider to you, I have to go after Sasuke. Looking at Wang Li's back, Hyuga Neji couldn't help muttering to himself. Caged bird, can you really help us lift it? Hyuga Neji said, taking off the forehead protector, revealing the emerald green spell on his forehead. Wang Li bounced among the trees quickly, and after about 10 minutes, there were waves of flutes in his ears. The corners of Wang Li's mouth rose slightly, and the soles of his feet immediately accelerated. Yo, isn't it Tayuya, who was fighting Nara Shikamaru wits, shuddered at the sound, and then turned his head immediately. After seeing Wang Li, his face showed an angry expression. It's you, how dare you show up in front of me again? As soon as Tayuya's voice fell, the curse marks on his body began to spread, and his white skin was instantly densely covered with black curses. Immediately after the curse mark spread again, the entire skin began to turn black, and 6 ghost horns grew on the top of the head. Hey, what's the situation? Wang Li's mouth twitched. Generally speaking, the big trick to fight with others is definitely not used until the end. But it would be nice to you. As soon as he saw Wang Li, he turned on the curse seal mode. And it's still mode 2. What's the difference between this and the fight against the landlord when he comes up? At this time, Nara Shikamaru didn't have many wounds on her body, and she still had a lazy expression on her face. Saved, it would be nice to have you here. Wang Li smiled helplessly. Nara Shikamaru has a very high IQ, and has a very high talent in team battles and individual battles and combat analysis. However, due to his lazy nature and fear of trouble, his strength fell and he distanced himself from the plug-in group. What makes me come, and you are saved? You don't ask how the first 2 people are. Since you are here, it proves that they must be saved by you. Rather than thinking about this, think about when they can return to Konoha. Nara Shikamaru yawned and scratched his head. There is no such pride in seeing everything, but the disgust on his face is even more obvious. Ignore me, don't look down on people. Tayuya, who was left aside, finally couldn't bear it, and yelled angrily. The sound of the flute was stacked for a while, and the sound was like a sharp sword flying over, cutting the trees. A girl's family, why is so angry? Why don't we talk about it with peace of mind? Wang Li smiled as he dodged. Asshole, shut up, Tayuya yelled, bit his thumb with his teeth, and then his hands began to seal. Summoning technique. For a time, 3 giant ghosts appeared in front of them. I saw a ghost holding a thick wooden stick, and his waist-length hair couldn't tell what it looked like. A ghost uses bone claws, and the muscles on his body are like rocks. The last ghost was bandaged all over, without hands, his head was always looking at the sky, and he felt like he was raising his head and looking at the bright moon. Go to hell. As the sound of Tayuya's flute accelerated, the 3 giant ghosts began to move. Although the 3 ghosts were huge in size, they were surprisingly fast, and they came to Wang Li in the blink of an eye. All go. 3 fights 1. What are my grudges against you? You go find Shikamaru in trouble. Asshole. If you hadn't used illusions on me to break the 4 purple flame formations, I wouldn't have been severely educated by Master Kabuto. Today I want you to die. Not long after, the 3 ghosts had arrived in front of Wang Li, raised their fists high, and were about to smash them at Wang Li. Double transformation technique. Wang Li did not retreat but advanced, and performed the double folding technique on both hands. Jian. One of Wang Li's arm became bigger in an instant, and he smashed directly at the 3 ghosts. With the doubling technique and the strange force punch, the 3 ghosts didn't even have a chance to struggle, and they were thrown out directly. The 3 ghosts were smashed into the air by you. You are not a phantom ninja, why do you have such a powerful force? Wang Li was also upset all at once. At the beginning, I prepared myself to practice illusion, and it was over after being handsome. But I don't know why, the skill tree gets more and more biased, and if this continues, I will soon become an almighty ninja. No matter what type of ninja you are, the next move will kill you. Tayuya spoke with the flute hurriedly. The 3 ghosts, who had been struggling to get up, suddenly froze in place. Final Chapter 9. Mirror Chaos. 3 ghosts raised their heads to the sky, and their mouths began to open gradually. Suddenly, 3 transparent spirit bodies like snakes came out of the mouths of the 3 ghosts. Following the sound of the flute, the spirit body began to look around, and finally locked Wang Li. Wang Li frowned. The spirit body has no entity, and the general ninjutsu physique does no harm to it. And these 3 spirit bodies can swallow all chakra that touches people. It is very easy to deal with them. Just need to kill the caster and do whatever it takes. But Tayuya is also aware of this weakness and has already distanced himself from it. The most important thing is that Wang Li's fillet breaking technique was used when killing Gatong pills, and the meridians have not been completely restored, so it can't be used for the second time. So now that Wang Li wants to get close to Tayuya, he can only pass by at his own speed. Do you think it's useful to hide so far? Wang Li snorted, his hands began to seal. Water style. Water dragon bomb technique. For a while, the moisture in the air gathered desperately, and the surrounding air began to dry up. The water dragon came out of nowhere, but it was a circle smaller than before on the lake. The water dragon hovered in the air a few times and rushed straight towards Tayuya. Tayuya sneered, and the tune suddenly changed. The 3 spirit bodies bit towards the water dragon and passed directly through the water dragon. When the spirit body passed through the water dragon's movement stopped, and then it turned into ordinary water, scattered directly on the ground. It's useless, only the ninjutsu controlled by chakra, it doesn't work for me at all. Wang Li suddenly became serious. Although Tayuya's strength is barely only Jonin. But its ninjutsu is weird, and he didn't know how to face it for a while. Since you have no response, then I am coming. For a time, the 3 spirit bodies rushed towards Wang Li like lion majesty, while Nara Shikamaru squatted aside, closing his eyes as if thinking about something. It seems I can only fight. Fillet po technique can't be used now, and Duel does not look at Wang Li either. At this time, there is only one ninjutsu that can be thought of. Lightning style. Thunder prison. Wang Li's hands began to seal, and the speed was so fast that it was difficult to distinguish with the naked eye. Lightning style. Thunder prison. With Wang Li's soft drink, 5 small birds gathered by chakra flew into the air and hovered over Tayuya. Tayuya frowned directly. Seeing this little bird, a dangerous breath came to his face. Hastily urged the spirit body to rush over. 1. 2. When the spirit body was about to bite the third one, Wang Li's eyes lit up, and the corners of his mouth began to rise slightly. You are too slow. The song of the bird gradually increased, and electric arcs jumped out of the bird's body. Wherever the arc passed, it was suddenly dark, leaving a gully a few centimeters deep. And now in the woods. The trees struck by the electric arc ignited in an instant, and bursts of smoke kept coming out. The sound of the flute disappeared, and the spirit body remained in place. In the thunder prison, Tayuya's wailing sounds continued to be heard, and the voice gradually became quieter. "Oh, still alive," stumbled out of a figure in the thick smoke. "Isn't it the reason to release the curse status?" Wang Li was not surprised either. After all, the 5 birds in the thunder prison were swallowed by 2, and the density of the thunder prison was not enough to allow Doyu to run out. If the 5 little birds are there, even the elite Jonin can't escape the thunder prison. However, the elite Jonin can escape from the thunder prison before it is completed. Nara Shikamaru looked at everything in front of her incredulously. A ninjutsu can use the power of heaven and earth to destroy a large forest. According to legend, cage-level ninja fighting can change a piece of landform. And Wang Li is only 12 years old, so he can perform such a powerful ninjutsu. You are really amazing. No wonder Master Hokage is so valued. If nothing happens, you are afraid that you will become the next generation of Hokage. Wang Li couldn't laugh at all at this time. When treating Rock Lee before, he consumed a lot of chakra. And then went through 2 more battles. Now it is showing lightning style. Thunder Prison is such an overbearing ninjutsu. The chakra in the body has long been unable to make ends meet, almost exhausted. Wang Li hurriedly took out a Liang pill and threw it into his mouth, his face lightened slightly. "Shikamaru, go and watch her, I have to go after Sasuke." "No, let me look at this woman. It's too much trouble, and you still want to chase Sasuke in your current state. You know, Hokage-sama's first task is to protect you," Nara Shikamaru said, walking up to Wang Li and blocking his way. When the two were in a stalemate, a light breeze blew around. As the gust of wind grew stronger and stronger, Wang Li and Nara Shikamaru were a little unstable in the end. "Wind style, Scythe Itachi." As a female voice came, the wind increased instantly. A sickle weasel can be vaguely seen shuttled through the woods, but wherever it passes, the trees are all cut off. Then the sickle rushed straight into the thick fire. But as long as the place where the sickle is passing by, the flame is instantly extinguished. The flames were all extinguished in a short time. Temari. Wang Li secretly regretted that such a powerful wind style was in front of his eyes, but he didn't steal it. "You 2 idiots, don't care if you put such a big fire in the forest. You know how many people will be killed if the fire continues." Temari stepped on a huge fan and landed in front of the 2, with anger on his face, wishing to beat the 2 in front of him. Wang Li laughed awkwardly. "I used up all the chakra before, so how can I spare no effort to put out the fire?" But Temari, the woman Wang Li, still admires her very much, and she has been by Gaara's side all the time, just to make him kill less people. Although participated in the Konoha collapse plan. But just follow the instructions above, and in the end, even no one was killed. "Why are you laughing? Where is Wang Li?" "We received a request from 5th Hokage to protect a ninja named Wang Li." Wang Li was moved and helpless in his heart. Unexpectedly, Senju Tsunade cared so much about himself and even asked for help from the Kingdom of Wind. What's helpless is, if you are protected by Sand Shinobi, how can you go around next time? Then Wang Li began to move aside, ready to escape at any time. "Wang Li, where are you going? I didn't expect 5th generation to care about you so much. I really envy and hate you." Wang Li's mouth twitched, wishing to slap Nara Shikamaru to death. An excellent opportunity to escape, directly cracked by a sentence. Temari's gaze slowly moved to Wang Li, his eyebrows furrowed, and a disdainful smile appeared on his face. "So handsome, it's no wonder you get paid attention. But where do you want to go sneakily?" The corner of Wang Li's mouth twitched. Is it difficult to be handsome or is it his own fault? People have 3 urgency, let me go and make it easier. Well, I'll go with you. This is the first time working with Konoha, and I can't stand any risks. No, Wang Li couldn't help taking a few steps back. You have to follow it even when you go to the toilet, this Temari line is really too big. But looking at Temari's serious face, Wang Li understood it instantly. This woman is serious. Since the legendary urine escape was useless, Wang Li naturally dispelled the idea immediately. After all, Temari really dared to watch, and Wang Li didn't dare to really pee. Forget it, it's not so urgent. I'll go after Sasuke. Temari nodded slightly, and placed the tall fan behind him. Okay, I will go with you. The first task is to protect you, and the second task is to recover Uchiha Sasuke. Since it is unavoidable, simply enjoy it. With Temari protection, it can be a lot easier when dealing with Kimimaro. Thinking about it, Wang Li threw a ration pill into his mouth. Wang Li started rushing quickly, feeling that something was missing when he was halfway through. Then he stretched out his fingers while muttering softly in his mouth. Akamichi Choji, Hyuga Neji, Nara Shikamaru, Uzumaki Naruto. I'll go. Forget Inuzuka Tooth. According to the plot, Inuzukaga should be working hard with Sakaniya at this time, and there is a risk of being killed at any time. However, Temari is here, and Kankuro must be supported too. Who makes Inuzuka's presence so low? As Wang Li rushed desperately, and Temari finally rushed out of the forest. And outside the forest, Gaara was floating in the air, blood dripping down from his body. And not far away, a creature like a velociraptor was running fast. Kimimaro. Wang Li couldn't help but yelled out. Kimimaro bears the blood limit. Dead bone pulse, you can use the bones in your body as a weapon to fight. And its strength is very powerful, and its physical skills are matched with the boundary of blood. Dead bone pulse, it can be said that it is invincible in close combat. In the original drama, Gaara and Rock Lee were easily defeated. If it weren't for the final disease outbreak, there would be no fifth case Gaara behind. Gaara. An anxious expression appeared on Temari's face. After hesitating for a while, he picked up the fan and rushed over quickly. Wang Li took a closer look. Gaara is now covered by the armor of sand, and his eyes have turned into a copper coin state. If you continue to fight, you will easily summon the one-tailed beast, the sand guard crane. Daime. Gaara slapped both hands hard, and then pressed it on the sand. The ground began to sand, and the sand quickly gathered, trapping Kimimaro in it. Sand done. Great burial of sand waterfall. Ding dong. Identify ninjutsu sand done. Sandfall funeral. When Wang Li heard the system sound, he couldn't help but shake his head. Although the great power of the sand waterfall burial is huge, it belongs to the ninjutsu of a group of seconds. But the premise is that there needs to be enough sand. And Wang Li didn't have the ninjutsu to let the land desert, so this big sand burial was very tasteless. As Gaara kept feeding chakra into the sand on the ground began to tremble constantly, converging towards Kimimaro's place like ripples. Seeing this, Temari stopped immediately. The worry on his face also disappeared. After all, he knows Gaara's trick very well, as long as he hits it, no one can escape it. Gaara's face was paralyzed, and there was also a little smug expression on her face. This is full confidence in yourself. Run, Gaara Temari, run, Wang Li shouted loudly. Wang Li is very clear about the following plot. A ninjutsu protruding from the ground. At that time, Gaara and Rock Lee were almost killed because of this trick. Seeing that the two of them didn't pay any attention to what he meant, Wang Li hurried to Temari. Then he hugged Temari tightly with both hands, and quickly backed away. Wang Li, what are you doing? Let me go. Could it be that you thought that the monster could survive Gaara's attack? Temari showed a hint of shame on his face. Seeing that Wang Li had no intention of letting go, he beat Wang Li a few times with his hands. Suddenly the ground vibrated, and then bone spurs came out quickly. The original sand sea has instantly turned into a bone forest. Behind Wang Li, bone spurs kept chasing after him, and he was about to catch up. Quickly put me down. You and I will die if this goes on. Temari's face paled. At this time, he understood Wang Li's intentions. I regretted the attack on Wang Li just now. But looking at the speed and height of the bone spurs in front of him, Temari didn't have the confidence to escape at all. If Wang Li didn't come in to save himself, he wouldn't be in such a dangerous situation. But after Wang Li put down himself, he still had a chance to escape. Shut up. The woman just shuts my mouth. I can only bet. Wang Li hurriedly took out a kunai, bit it with his mouth, and then began to seal with one hand. Suddenly, the kunai on Wang Li's mouth began to glow with golden light. But the golden light is very dim, and there is a feeling that it will be shattered at any time. Wang Li was overjoyed, but he didn't expect the show to be successful. Before using the fillet breaking technique, the meridians have not been completely unblocked. If you use it forcibly, you don't know what will happen. But Wang Li couldn't take care of that much. After all, hesitate for a while, it is estimated that even his life will be lost. Go to me. Wang Li threw out the Kuwu in his hands. Kuwu was flying at high speed, and Wang Li couldn't wait for Kuwu to land, and shouted anxiously, "Fillet po technique. Let me go." As a burst of yellow lightning lit up, Wang Li and Temari disappeared instantly. At the moment when Wang Li was young, countless bone spurs protruded, leaving some fragments of clothes. Wang Li appeared in the position of Kuwu. Just after landing, a mouthful of blood spurted out. Wang Li no longer had the strength to hold Temari, his whole body fell and his hands were on the ground, his eyes were pale. I didn't expect backlash to be so powerful. At this time, a large block of Wang's internal meridian was blocked, although it did not affect other ninjutsu use. But Fillet po technique is afraid that it can no longer be used in a short time. But even so, Wang Li secretly rejoiced in his heart. After all, I survived. Survival is worth more than anything. The shock on Temari's face has not subsided, and now he sees Wang Li vomiting blood, and he blames himself even more. If I heard Wang Li's departure at that time, nothing would happen. But he was hired to protect the man in front of him, but in the end he saved his life. Are you okay? It's okay, can't die. Immediately Temari breathed a sigh of relief, then his face flushed, and he hesitated for a while and asked, "Why are you here to save me? You can't come. I'm thinking about heroes to save the United States. But you shouldn't be concerned about this now," Wang Li said with a wry smile, and then pointed to Ji Yulin behind him. Gaara. Temari only reacted now. Although Wang Li rescued himself, Gaara is still in the center of the bone grove. According to the density of this bone forest, I am afraid that there will be more fortunes than fortunes. Temari hurriedly took out the fan, bit his thumb with his teeth, and then drew a line on the fan with blood. Summoning. As Temari slammed a fan, a white ferret with a huge sickle appeared and rushed straight to the bone forest. When, after hitting the bone forest, the white sickle ferret was directly bounced off, leaving only a shallow trace on the bone forest, and it was completely healed in a blink of an eye. How can it be so hard? Temari looked at the bone forest in front of him in disbelief, and suddenly felt that he was so weak that he couldn't even protect his brother. At this moment, a pile of yellow sand drifted over quickly. You can vaguely see blood dripping on the yellow sand. Gaara. Temari was ecstatic on her face, and hurriedly picked up the fan and slapped it on the ground. A huge air current blew downwards, Temari hurriedly jumped on the fan, and the whole person flew up. Gaara, are you okay? Run away. It's too late. Kimimaro's voice came from the side, but Temari looked around, but he couldn't find Kimimaro at all. At this moment, a bone spur next to it twisted, gradually became a humanoid, and pierced directly towards Gaara. No, Gaara, run. Hearing Temari's voice, Gaara subconsciously drew aside. A spear turned from bone, wiped it against Gaara's chest, and raised a blood. Oh, you escaped, but how do you hide next time? Kimimaro sneered, and used a bone spear to withstand Gaara's chest. With just a light stabbing, Gaara would die completely. Temari gritted his teeth and slapped the fan. Wind style. Scythe Itachi. Suddenly a gust of wind blows away. When Kimimaro didn't even dodge, several bone spurs came out of his body, blocking all the damage. Kimimaro turned his head slowly, looking at Temari with cold eyes. Don't worry, you are the next one. Temari stepped back in succession, and sat directly on the ground, his eyes looked at Kimimaro in terror. God of Ninja, please save Gaara, as long as you save him, I will do anything. Halfway through Temari's words, a figure jumped out and punched Kimimaro in the face accurately. Kimimaro was beaten and flew out without any preparation. Temari's heart twitched, and his eyes looked at the figure idiotically. Then he folded his hands and prayed joyfully. Wang Li looked back at Temari innocently. It seemed that the timing was a little wrong, which caused others to misunderstand him. But Wang Li has no time to explain now. Kimimaro stood up slowly, and couldn't help but frown when he saw Wang Li. Curse seal. No, it doesn't look like a curse seal. Do you regard this S-rank ninjutsu Baihao technique as a curse seal? I am afraid that Senju Tobarama's coffin board will not be able to hold it down. Anyway, it's the right thing to kill you. Kimimaro snorted, carrying a bone spear and rushed over. Wang Li was taken aback, but he didn't dare to head with Kimimaro. After all, although I have Baihao technique, Senju Tsunade's ninja art, meiotic regeneration has not been stolen. Can't return to the blue and blood indefinitely. Moreover, there is not much time between the two Baihao techniques, and there is only a small part of chakra in the body. But there is a big advantage. That is, Kimimaro is dying ill and is completely using love to generate electricity. In fact, the whole person is almost lying in the coffin board. Now Wang Li just needs to drag it off and wait for Kimimaro to die by himself. In a breathing time, Kimimaro came to Wang Li's side instantly. He raised his spear high and pierced Wang Li's heart. Wang Li now has a Grandmaster of advanced physical skills and a Grandmaster of intermediate speed. His reaction speed is quite fast, and he easily evaded Kimimaro's attack. You Konoha genin, are you so fast? Kimimaro frowned and said. Wang Li smiled triumphantly. Remember next time, how far you can hide when you meet Konoha genin. Wang Li said that his hands were sealed, and then walked a few steps towards Kimimaro. Lightning style, Chidori. For an instant, the arc on Wang Li kept beating. Wrap Kimimaro directly in it. Suddenly, Kimimaro twitched all over his body, and then retreated with all his strength, and looked at Wang Li in fear. You are strong, but I must kill you today. Really, let you see Konoha genin's forbidden technique. Multiple shadow clone techniques. More than a dozen shadow clone appeared next to Wang Li. If it is normal, Wang Li can use more shadow clone, and is even expected to catch up with Uzumaki Naruto. But at this time chakra bottomed out, and more than a dozen were already the limit. Shadow clone. Just now, that kid will do it too. There are many more than you, but what's the use? But looking at your current appearance, I am afraid that there is not much chakra. Tayuya and the others have done something useful. Quote. Kimimaro smiled indifferently, and didn't take the shadow clone rushing into it at all. The corners of Wang Li's mouth rose slightly, and he placed one hand in front of his eyes. I am different from that kid's shadow clone, mine will explode. As soon as the voice fell, the shadow clone rushing to Kimimaro's side suddenly swelled. When shadow clone swelled to an extreme, the hole cracked. Boom! The sound of a huge explosion exploded the surrounding bone forest, and the raised smoke formed a huge mushroom in the sky. And through the smoke, one could vaguely see a figure standing there. How is it possible? It won't die like this. Temari gripped the corner of his clothes tightly, with a desperate expression on his face. Obviously he is here to protect Wang Li. But again and again, he was protected by this guy who relied on his face to eat. For a while, Temari's eyes became firm. Even if you die, you should die by yourself. And he must survive. Wang Li, take Gaara and run fast, leave this guy to me to stop me. Temari said, picking up the fan that fell to the side. Ready to die at any time. Shut up the woman, leave this guy to me. Temari's heart twitched. Because of carrying Gaara all the time, all the residents of the Kingdom of Wind spread their fear of Gaara to themselves. No one has ever dared to speak like this. Even Gaara and Konkuro are the same. However, Wang Li was fierce to himself more than once, without a trace of disgust in his heart. I have to help Master Orochimaru solve such a powerful existence. A weak voice came from the smoke. Then the figure rushed towards Wang Li at an extremely fast speed. It's over. Dead Bone Pulse. Dance of the Eightfold Humulus. It's over. Tsukuyomi. Kimimaro was about to stab Wang Li. Suddenly I felt that the surrounding sky turned blood red, and I was actually tied to the cross. At this time, a figure walked out with a cold smile on his face. Master Orochimaru, why are you here? Give me some more time, I must kill that kid. No, you are useless, you can go to death. Orochimaru said, spit out a sword from his mouth and pierced it directly at Kimimaro. The position of Orochimaru's stab completely avoided the point, and it took dozens of stabs before Kimimaro closed his eyes. When Kimimaro opened his eyes again, he was still tied to the cross. The scary thing is that not far away is his own body. Kimimaro, you are no longer useful, go to death for me. Kimimaro felt a sharp pain in her abdomen, and turned her head to see Orochimaru's cold smiling face. Am I useless anymore? Kimimaro said to himself. Wang Li looked at Kimimaro incredulously. Others got hit. Tsukuyomi was in the Tsukuyomi space and spent dozens of hours in agony. But Kimimaro showed a smile on his face. Everything is satisfied and liberated in the release of Buddha. Then Kimimaro stopped breathing and fell to the ground with a smile on his face. Wang Li covered his eyes with one hand, and the corners of his mouth twitched continuously. To be a licking dog to do this kind of thing, it is like no one has come before and after. Fortunately, just now Tsukuyomi performed successfully in time. At that time, Kimimaro's bone spear was no more than a piece of breadth from his chest. Kimimaro died, and Wang Li completely relaxed. Suddenly Wang Li felt that the sky was spinning before his eyes, and his body fell involuntarily. After a breathing time, Wang Li slowly recovered. When Wang Li saw the scenery in front of him again, he suddenly found Temari's face. Turning his head and looking around, he realized that he was actually being held by Princess Temari at this time. For a while, Wang Li struggled desperately. A dignified man, even if he is a princess, he will hug others by himself. There is no such thing as being hugged by a princess. No matter how Wang Li struggled, Temari didn't mean to abandon Wang Li at all. Instead, he slowly raised Wang Li and made him stand up. I see you fell down, so. Temari's face turned red and hurriedly wanted to explain what had happened. I know, chakra is overdrawn. As Wang Li said, he stretched his hand directly into the ninja bag, ready to take out 2 more Liang pills to eat. Otherwise, wait a moment to face Uchiha Sasuke, or even Orochimaru, there is no room for resistance. But when Wang Li reached into his pocket, he didn't find a single pill after searching for it. No, it's all finished. Wang Li remembered that Tenten had stuffed the ninja bag when he went out just now. There are more than a dozen Bingliang pills. Unexpectedly, I ate it all without knowing it. No wonder I feel a little upset in my stomach. Temari saw Wang Li keep searching for things, so he quickly took out his ninja bag, blushed and handed it to it. Wang Li-kun, you are looking for Bingliang pills, right? I have one more here. With joy on Wang Li's face, he took the ninja bag directly, and unceremoniously took out the ration pills. Temari, can you come and take a look at my wound first? Gaara on one side made a weak cry for help at Temari. Temari realized that he was not alone with Wang Li. Immediately ran over. At this time Gaara was already lying on the ground, with dozens of wounds, large and small, still bleeding. Gaara's pupils are constantly changing, and one tail Shuhei may explode at any time. Temari is not a medical ninja, but he can still deal with a small wound. But seeing a few wide thumb wounds made it difficult. Such a large wound can no longer be treated with gauze and simple hemostasis. A special medical ninja is required to control it. But here in the wilderness, where can I find a medical ninja? Gaara, hold on to me. I will take you to the nearest village now. Temari took Gaara with one hand and humped him up. But with such an action, it immediately collapsed to the wound, and the blood flowed faster than before. Little girl, what are you doing? You want to kill my uncle. Shuhei no longer competed with Gaara for control of the body, but said nervously. Temari had never seen Shuhei speak this way. You must know that if Gaara died, even if Shuhei survived, he was afraid that he would suffer a lot of harm. So Shuhei seemed extremely nervous. But, in this wilderness, where can I find a medical ninja? That's your business. Anyway, if you drag Gaara this way, and you can't go far, you'll have to die on the road. For a while, Temari looked around helplessly. He didn't dare to put Gaara down, and he didn't dare to hump Gaara and move on. Temari's anxious tears were about to flow out. At this time, Temari shifted his gaze to Wang Li, but immediately shook his head again. Wang Li is good enough. The person looks handsome, the ninjutsu is powerful, and the physical skills are also very strong. It would be a bit unrealistic to say that I will meet medical ninjutsu again. But Temari still asked involuntarily. Wang Li-kun, can you medical ninjutsu? You can level Gaara first, and wait for me to recover a little chakra. Oh, it's okay. I just asked casually. Wait, what did you just say? Temari first fell down, and then he turned his head to look at Wang Li as if he had been electrocuted. I said, you flatten Gaara, otherwise how can I treat it? Oh, okay. I'll put it down right away. Temari suddenly became confused. Never thought of it. Wong Li, who was identified by himself as a little white face at the beginning, was so good. He is the perfect man in his own mind. I don't know if Wong Li-kun can cook. Temari half thought about it, and hurriedly shook his head. Wong Li is already perfect as a ninja. If you still cook delicious meals, it is no longer what the world should have. It's a messenger sent by the god of ninja. You have time to be in a daze, why don't you help Gaara stop the bleeding a little bit? Yes, good. For a while, Temari blushed and hurriedly tore off the pieces of clothes and pressed the wound. The speed of the blood that had flowed quickly began to slow down. But continue to flow, death is only a matter of time. Wong Li sat on the ground leisurely, waiting for the effect of the Bingliang pill, and glanced at Gaara unconsciously. Suddenly the corners of his mouth twitched. All go. You can't use Gaara's clothes to stop bleeding. What's the matter with your own clothes? Wong Li wiped the blood from the people. This is really exciting. Fortunately, Gaara is almost unconscious, otherwise this scenery will definitely increase blood circulation and accelerate blood loss. Then Wong Li quickly took off his jacket and threw it to Temari. Wear it well, otherwise I won't be able to treat with peace of mind. Oh, Temari nodded shyly, but there was a hint of joy in his eyes. Embracing the shirt like treasures with both hands, afraid of being stained with Gaara's blood. Wong Li walked to Gaara's side. At this time Gaara's face turned pale, her breathing became disordered, and even her pupils began to spread. Wong Li was shocked. It was too late to resume chakra, and healing jutsu hurriedly started. If Gaara and Temari were simply fighting with Kimimaro, Wong Li would have been watching the show with melon seeds. But the first task of Gaara and Temari is to protect Wong Li. It can be said to be fighting for Wong Li. If you leave it alone, Wong Li will be troubled in his heart. Hurry up, kid. Gaara won't last long. If cured, my uncle owes you a favor. Wong Li didn't have time to care for this smelly civet cat. Either being sealed or on the way to being sealed, it will show up a little when the final battle. Shuhei's favor is not worth much. But this does not prevent Wong Li from treating Gaara. Gaara is going to be Feng Ying's man, besides, she may have to go to the Kingdom of Wind in the future, which can be considered as paving the way for herself. After all, if one person is away, multiple friends will have multiple paths. With healing jutsu's treatment, Gaara's injury began to calm down. But healing jutsu only treats wounds. There is no way for Gaara to lose blood. So Gaara looks particularly weak. Fortunately, there is no life worry. Gaara got up from the ground with difficulty, and looked at Wong Li gratefully. Thank you, I have written down this favor. Okay, I remember what you said. You guys rest here and wait for rescue, and I have to chase Sasuke. Wong Li said, patted the dust on his butt, and was about to leave. Seeing this, Temari ran over and blocked the way. You're like this, and you're still chasing it now, what if there is an accident? Temari looked at Wong Li worriedly. Seeing that Temari's eyes were firm, Wong Li couldn't help but feel distressed. But thinking that Temari loves peace, I can't help but shine. Do you think it's as easy as I just chased Sasuke? Then, what else is there? Orochimaru joined a mysterious organization. I was wondering if this incident might be related to that mysterious organization. And I ran into someone from that organization not long ago. Their goal is very clear, just for Jinchuriki. Quote. Wong Li turned his head and glanced at Gaara. Gaara was lost in thought at this time. Because Gaara is Jinchuriki of One-Tail Sand Morizuru. If that organization needs Jinchuriki, then you can't escape. What is their purpose for collecting Jinchuriki? Gaara's weak face showed a serious expression. Infinite Tsukuyomi. But do you think I will tell you? Wong Li thought about coughing twice quickly, and the expression on his face gradually cooled down. The chakra content of the tail beasts is amazing. According to legend, you can make up the 9 tail beasts to synthesize 10 tails. And what that organization wants 10 tails to do is unknown. But I must stop them. Temari trembled all over. Any tail beast has the power to destroy a small shinobu village. In the past, 9 Tails was upset in Konoha village, and even 4th Hokage was killed in that battle. If you synthesize 10 Tails, the destructive power is unimaginable. I'm afraid that if the whole world endures, it will be involved. I'll go with you. You can't bear this kind of thing alone. Temari looked at Wang Li in admiration. Never thought about it. Such a perfect man has such lofty ambitions. This man is not only for Konoha. He is for the whole ninja world. At this time, Temari is full of respect for Wang Li. Even more respect than the original Feng. You go with me. I'm absolutely confidential about this. If I leave, I will become a rebel. I'm okay if I'm alone. You don't want to involve Gaara and Konkuro, do you? Temari paused. If you really follow Wang Li and become a betrayer, then Gaara and Konkuro will definitely be taken care of. Lose freedom and even die. As a sister Temari, these things are never allowed to happen. You are a real hero. If you need my help for anything, no matter what time, no matter where, no matter what request, I am willing, Temari said with a righteous face. Suddenly felt that there was a problem with her words, her face suddenly changed. It's red. But Temari didn't have any explanation, but continued to look at Wang Li. Hearing Temari's words, Wang Li's heart twitched. All requirements, would not it be? Thinking of this, Wang Li shook his head frantically. Now is not the time for children to love each other. If Uchiha Madara cannot be stopped, then everything is empty. Okay, I will definitely come to you if there is something. After Wang Li finished speaking, he took out a bolus pill and threw it into his mouth, then turned and left. Gaara, do you think Wang Li-kun can come back? Temari, I think you are a little weird today. Wang Li threw all the soldiers' brain pills into his mouth in one breath, and couldn't help but burp. Wang Li couldn't help but laughed bitterly, afraid that the entire ninja world would be the only one who 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 would be able to support him. But feeling Chakra's rapid recovery, I felt a little more confident. At this time, Wang Li saw a person lying on the ground in big letters in the distance. His body was covered with wounds but he didn't know it, his eyes were dull looking at the sky. Naruto, Sasuke. Hearing Wang Li's voice, Uzumaki Naruto's eyes instantly became bright. He quickly got up from the ground with difficulty. Wang Li-kun, you finally came. I failed to keep Sasuke, now only you can stop him. Looking at Uzumaki Naruto, who was full of disappointment, Wang Li couldn't help but smile. Obviously he is the protagonist, but because of his appearance, he has been hit again and again. Especially Uzumaki Naruto's future wife, Hyuga Hinata, now has a good impression of Wang Li. Wang Li suddenly felt a little sad. I wondered how to compensate him in the future. Don't worry, leave it to me. Wang Li-kun will definitely bring Sasuke back. Wang Li shook his head helplessly. Not only could he not bring back Uchiha Sasuke, he would disappear for several years. But Wang Li couldn't speak such words. At Uzumaki Naruto, knocking on the stick, several Liang pills came. The ninja bag that had been deflated was bulging again. And after the constant feeding of soldiers and grains, Wang Li's chakra has recovered a small part. Even if you can't deal with those masters, Chunin will definitely not be his opponent. Uchiha Sasuke, I have finally caught up with you. When Wang Li saw Uchiha Sasuke running in the distance, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but raised slightly. Then exert force on the feet to raise the speed to another level. Sudden, Wang Li appeared in front of Uchiha Sasuke with a calm smile on his face. Uchiha Sasuke was taken aback by Wang Li, and took a few steps before stopping. Wang Li, you are also going to take me back? Wang Li shrugged his shoulders disapprovingly. Wang like never thought of taking Uchiha Sasuke back. In Orochimaru, Uchiha Sasuke will be best developed. If you continue to stay in Konoha, let Hitaki Kakashi teach him, I am afraid that he will become an elite jonin at most. And to the back, the era of cage-level ninjas walking everywhere. Elite jonin is nothing. However, Wang Li was always worried about Uchiha Sasuke's sudden departure. Sasuke, what was your purpose of leaving Konoha? Why, isn't that clear? Orochimaru can make me stronger. Uchiha Sasuke showed a smug smile on his face. Ding dong. Trigger selection mission. 1. Leave Dingy. Reward. Imprint of Heaven's Curse. 2. Explain it with Uchiha Sasuke. Reward. Lightning Style. 1000 Birds Sharp Gun. 3. Attack Uchiha Sasuke. Reward. Lightning Style. Chidori Chiban. The corner of Wang Li's mouth rose slightly. Regardless of the reward this time, Wang Li has only 3 choices. Nothing else. Just watching Uchiha Sasuke is too exasperating. I choose 3. It seems that I have to use force. Wang Li said, rubbing his fists. Uchiha Sasuke showed no fear on his face, but rather excited. I want to try again. How strong is the so-called Konoha hero? There is also something about Itachi. I must call you today. The corner of Wang Li's mouth twitched. No wonder people keep saying that the sky is clear and the rain has stopped or zoo and feel that they can fight again. From today's point of view, this is not unreasonable. Well, I want to learn it. Come on then, Uchiha Sasuke said. Countless curse marks crawled out from the back of the neck, and quickly spread all over his body. After that, an opponent grows out of his back, which looks like wings when you look closely. This is the power Orochimaru bestows on me. Today I want to show you how good I am. The corner of Wang Li's mouth twitched. Even Orochimaru himself has been knocked over by himself 3 times. Although it was a sneak attack and taking advantage of the futility, it did not affect Wang Li's glorious record. But now Uchiha Sasuke is doing well, with a little bit of power bestowed by Orochimaru. It's arrogant. I don't want to educate you well today, so I'll give your surname. Wang Li yelled and kicked his feet hard. Wang Li's whole body was ejected like a bullet. Let you taste the trick you taught me. Uchiha Sasuke sneered, his hands began to seal, and then countless arcs appeared on his body, beating constantly. Lightning style. Chidori. Too slow. Wang Li's face was full of disdain, and he punched Uchiha Sasuke unceremoniously. Wang Li's fist landed on Uchiha Sasuke's face exactly 1 second before the completion of the Chidori Ryu, knocking it directly into the air for dozens of meters. How is it possible? How fast you are. Faster than when we were fighting before. Why, do you know that you are afraid now? It's a pity it's too late. Wang Li is not going to give Uchiha Sasuke a chance to breathe. If he is not scared today, he might jump again next time. Wang Li leapt up and hit the ground with all his strength. Boom! With the Grandmaster of the advanced physical skills, the intermediate sage body, and the strange power fist, they directly smashed the ground out of a huge pit. If it weren't for Uchiha Sasuke's quick reaction, I'm afraid it would be a KO with just 1 punch. However, the reason why Uchiha Sasuke was able to jump was entirely because Wang Li slowed down. Otherwise, with Uchiha Sasuke's current strength, it is impossible to escape even in the state of curse. Wang Li-kun, I was wrong. I shouldn't listen to the temptations of those people. I will go back to learn ninjutsu with you. Uchiha Sasuke was frightened. Uchiha Sasuke knew it very well. Wang Li's most powerful skills are illusion and ninjutsu, and physical skills are only part-time. But it is the physical skill that is part-time, and it beats the strongest self without fighting back. What else to continue? But Wang Li didn't mean to stop in the slightest, instead speeded up. What's the use of knowing what's wrong? Unprepared, Uchiha Sasuke was hit in the face with a punch. Uchiha Sasuke's body kept tumbling, and Wang Li appeared again during the tumbling, punching in the face again. Wang Li punched Uchiha Sasuke's face again, and every time he fell on one spot. Tears came out of Uchiha Sasuke's eyes. I don't know why, Wang Li always hits himself in the face, and he hits the same position every time. Fortunately, Wang Li kept his hands every time, otherwise he would have died long ago. After a pleasant and unilateral rubbing and abuse, all the anger in Wang Li's heart dissipated. But after thinking of Uchiha Sasuke's confident smile, he couldn't help but hit several punches before he stopped. Do you know what's wrong? Understood. What's wrong? The fault is that we should not accept Orochimaru's enchantment and defect to Konoha. Hearing Uchiha Sasuke's answer, Wang Li became angry again, rushing to his side and constantly waving his fists. While beating, he kept shouting, "It's wrong here." Then where did I go wrong? If you are wrong, you can just leave without telling me. Is it possible that I am inferior to that Orochimaru? Uchiha Sasuke looked at Wang Li in surprise. It's because of this feeling that I was beaten so badly, but Uchiha Sasuke didn't dare to complain. Because just need to say one more sentence, maybe it's another beating. Wang Li-kun doesn't mind if I go to Orochimaru. Why should I mind? In your current situation, only by going to Orochimaru's pervert can you get the best training. Can you keep growing and standing at the pinnacle of ninja world? Staying in Konoha will only delay you. I don't need to stand on the pinnacle of ninja world, I just need to kill that man. Wong Li-kun, as the Uchiha clan, don't you hate that man at all? Wong Li sneered. After all, he is a person who has crossed over, and even if he has crossed over to the Uchiha clan, there will be no hatred. Besides, Wong Li is not from the Uchiha clan at all. Sharingan is just a system product. This is not to mention hate. What nonsense, take me to Orochimaru. And hand in all the Liang pills. Arriving outside the Orochimaru base, Wong Li is not going to go in with Uchiha Sasuke. After all, he has his way to go. When Wong Li came this time, he just wanted to ask Orochimaru for someone. Wong Li watched Uchiha Sasuke enter the Orochimaru base and began to sit cross-legged on the tree. After all, to deal with one of Sannin, Orochimaru, there is not enough chakra, and he dare not go in at all. Moreover, Orochimaru has finished changing his body now, even if he is still weak, Wong Li must face it carefully. Early the next morning, Wong Li stretched out on the treetops. Feeling the surging chakra in his body, Wong Li was full of confidence once again. However, the meridians in the Wong stereo have not completely recovered, and Filet-Po technique cannot be used for the time being. Now that the state was restored to its best, Wong Li didn't dare to stay any longer. After all, if you wait for Orochimaru to fully adapt to your body, then you can only go in for death. The secret base of Orochimaru is in a tree cave. Wong Li swaggered in and saw a figure not far away, as if he had been waiting here for a long time. Wong Li-kun, we meet again. Yakushi Kabuto, how did you find me? Yakushi Kabuto pushed the iframe with his right middle finger, a cold laugh appeared on his face. You are snoring so loudly outside, as long as I am not deaf, it is impossible not to find out. Wong Li suddenly became embarrassed. After all, one day was so tired yesterday, chakra was overdrawn several times. Unexpectedly, I would snore at night. Fortunately, Orochimaru and others did not sneak attack on Wong Li, otherwise a lighting will suffer a lot. Since you know I'm here, what about the Orochimaru people? Master Orochimaru has been waiting for a long time, follow me. Wong Li hesitated for a moment, and finally began to bite the bullet and walk in. If Orochimaru, who is in a weak state, is afraid, how will he face Uchiha Madara and even Otsutsuki Kagaya in the future? After passing the dark trail, Wong Li followed Yakushi Kabuto to a small door. Yakushi Kabuto was unwilling to move on, but made a pleased gesture. Orochimaru is waiting for you inside, go in. With a cold snort, Wong Li secretly opened Sharingan, and then carefully walked into the small door. The inside of the small door is much wider than the passage outside, but the light is still very dim. In the middle of the room, a man was wrapped in bandages, and a pair of snake pupils looked at Wong Li quietly. Wong Li-kun, how did you think of coming to me? To ask you to be alone. Wong Li was not going to go around with Orochimaru. After all, Wong Li only knows the plot, and he is definitely not Orochimaru's opponent for playing with people's hearts. Uchiha Sasuke, I have died 5 capable men, do you think I will give him to you? Orochimaru said, a faint murderous aura floated out. It's not Sasuke, but the kid from the Ghost Lantern family of Water Country. Orochimaru was stunned for a moment, and looked at Wong Li in amazement. Funny kid, I remember there is such a collectible, but why should I give it to you? Ding dong, trigger selection mission. 1. Leave, reward, chakra. 2. Negotiation, reward, Grandmaster of Advanced Illusion. 3. Fight, reward, Intermediate Sage Body. Wong Li's heart sighed. Except for the first option, the other 2 rewards were really eye-catching. Advanced Illusion Grandmaster. From the beginning, Wong Li was preparing to take the Illusion Ninja, but the skill tree completely strayed off the road. However, if you choose the Advanced Illusion Grandmaster, then the route will be completely pulled back. And now with Mangekyo Sharingan, if he cooperates with the Grandmaster, Wong Li is absolutely confident to stand in front of Orochimaru in his heyday. Even if he couldn't beat Orochimaru, he could escape successfully by illusion. The Intermediate Sage Body is also what Wong Li needs now. Before there was no S-rank ninjutsu, the rate of consumption of chakra was not fast. But after having Lightning Style, Thunder Prison, Wong Li discovered that chakra was really useless. If there is an Intermediate Sage Body, then it would not have been passive yesterday. The most important thing is that after choosing the intermediate sage body, all aspects of strength can be improved. Physique Phantom Ninjutsu. Although there is no high-level illusion, Grandmaster adds as much at one time, but it is the most practical. I choose 3. After choosing, Wang Li no longer hesitated. There was a confident smile on his face. My bargaining chip is, I am better than you now. Orochimaru froze for a moment, then laughed coldly. Funny kid, if that's the case, why don't you try? After Orochimaru got up from the wheelchair, he started to remove the bandage on his body. The body under the bandage looked extremely young. Looks only 12 or 13 years old. Okay, try it then. As soon as the voice fell, Wang Li instantly came to Orochimaru, raised his fist high, and hammered it down without hesitation. Orochimaru's pupils shrank sharply. With the fist that destroys everything, Orochimaru didn't dare to hold on. You have to know that you have just changed your body. If your body is broken, it will take at least a few years before you can change it again. Good speed and strength, but what if I do? Orochimaru said. His body softened suddenly, and it was wrapped around Wang Li's arm like a snake. Snake letters kept spitting out of his mouth, approaching Wang Li's neck little by little. Court death. Wang Li snorted and quickly formed seals with his hands. However, within a short time of breathing, a blue arc began to appear on Wang Li's body, and there were waves of birdsong echoing in the small room. Lightning style. Chidori. Not good. When Orochimaru found something wrong, his body had no time to dodge. One after another, violent electric arcs kept beating on Orochimaru's body. Wang Li can even faintly smell the smell of barbecue. Orochimaru hurriedly backed out, but there was a lot of burnt black on his white skin. And a pair of snake pupils looked at Wang Li with fear. You really are a great ninja. If you give you some more time, I'm afraid you will catch up with that man. You're talking about Uchiha Itachi. I played against him before. Have you fought him? Orochimaru looked at Wang Li incredulously. Orochimaru sneaked into Uchiha Itachi, but Uchiha Itachi instantly saw through it. In the end, if Yakushi Kabuto didn't show up and lost a hand, he might die there. And the kid in front of him said that he had fought against him. Yes, there was another person named Hoshigaki Kisame who followed, and it would be my fate to escape alive. Wang Lijong exaggerated the previous battle infinitely. At first Orochimaru did not believe what Wang Li said. But when it comes to Hoshigaki Kisame, Orochimaru has completely believed it. After all, Hoshigaki Kisame, Orochimaru only recently got the news. It's useless to say more. If you can take this trick, I will give you the collection level. Rise. Ding dong. Recognizing ninjutsu. Impure world reincarnation. A coffin slowly rose from the ground for a while. And on the coffin is written a big 4 character. Wang Li's pupils shrank sharply. Before defeating Sarutobi Hiruzen, Orochimaru was ready to summon this coffin. But it was stopped by Sarutobi Hiruzen. Unexpectedly, it would appear here. This shows that Orochimaru had planned for a long time. The requirements of impure world reincarnation are relatively harsh. First, you have to prepare the cell of the object to be summoned, and second, you have to prepare a corpse in advance. Only in this way can the conditions of the summoning be met. Although Wang Li learned this ninjutsu secretly by relying on the system, it is still very difficult to summon it. At this time, Wang Li looked at the coffin solemnly. Before coming to the ninja world, Wang Li had argued about who fell to the ground in this coffin. Although most people think it is 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato, Wang Li thinks it should be 4th Kage Luasha. After all, 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato died on the ghoul seal, and the soul sacrifice was given to Shinigami. There should be no possibility of summoning. On the other hand, 4th Kage died in Orochimaru's hands, so he has a chance to summon. At this moment, the coffin board slowly fell down. A light blue shadow gown was revealed inside. 4th Kage. Yes, I don't know if you can solve him, Orochimaru said with a cold smile. But Orochimaru hadn't even laughed. Wang Li suddenly appeared in front of Orochimaru and struck Orochimaru without hesitation. Orochimaru was still smug just now, completely unaware that Wang Li would rush over directly. An impartial punch hit Orochimaru's face. The whole person flew out a few meters. Wang Li smiled triumphantly. The ninja summoned by impure world reincarnation has an endless chakra, and the body will not be completely destroyed. The only thing that can deal with this trick is to seal it. But now Orochimaru and Yakushi Kabuto haven't improved this ninjutsu. If you want to control him, you have to put it in with the charm of Kuma. Otherwise, it's almost the same as the one-to-one skill. Wang Li just spotted this and directly beat Orochimaru into the air. Impure world reincarnation, you have no spell control, I see how you give orders. Orochimaru gritted his teeth and looked at Wang Li. Boy, it looks like you know me well. Did you think about me for a long time? Otherwise, how dare I come here? Wang Li rubbed his fists with an arrogant expression on his face. Funny kid, but you are still slow. As soon as Orochimaru's voice fell, Wang Li felt a dangerous breath rushing from behind him. Wang Li hurriedly jumped away, then turned his head to look. The sand flying in the sky was flying towards him. When, in the beginning, Orochimaru smiled even more proudly. Wang Li snorted coldly, and chakra gathered on his feet and ran fast on the wall. Orochimaru, I don't know how your body is adapting. Orochimaru was no longer calm, but looked at Wang Li with a pair of eyes. I said it from the beginning, I know you very well. Wang Li said, suddenly disappearing in place. Orochimaru suddenly became anxious, his hands began to seal. But Orochimaru's speed at this time is similar to that of a genin, and sometimes even makes mistakes. This body hasn't completely integrated yet. How did this kid know? I know more than this. Suddenly a voice came from underground, and Orochimaru hurriedly looked down. I saw a hand stretched out and grabbed Orochimaru's foot. Earth-style, decapitation technique in my heart. For a moment Orochimaru was pulled into the ground, leaving only one head outside. Wang Li appeared in front of Orochimaru, grabbed Orochimaru's chin with one hand, and was about to strike. That's enough. Orochimaru looked viciously at Wang Li, and then jumped out of the ground. Very good, but I want to know, what do you want from the Ghost Dang family? I'm going to the water country. Wang Li said straightforwardly, not planning to hide anything. The country of water. Orochimaru slapped his hands, and fourth Kazekage, who was dazzling on one side, instantly turned into a mound of mud. Orochimaru stared at Wang Li with interest. It seems that you have also escaped from the decayed Konoha. Instead of going to the country of water, it is better to stay with me. I will make you stronger. Wang Li sneered. If you continue to stay here, then Orochimaru will not be Sasuke next to take home, but himself. And at the same time with Orochimaru and Yakushi Kabuto 2 old coins, sooner or later they will be played to death. I'll forget, I have some other things I must do. Since Orochimaru removed impure world reincarnation, it means that he completely abandoned the idea of killing Wang Li. Wang Li also relaxed immediately. However, a pair of Sharingan is always on. Don't talk nonsense, where is the kid from the Ghost Lantern family? I want to take him away. In that case, I will take you there. Wang Li glanced at Orochimaru unexpectedly. I thought Orochimaru would at best let Yakushi Kabuto take him there, but I didn't expect Orochimaru to go there himself. Although I don't know what Orochimaru is thinking about, just be careful and there will be no accidents. The two walked on the trail, while Orochimaru looked very casual. Boy, what do you think is the meaning of life? Wang Li frowned, wondering why Orochimaru said this suddenly. He immediately replied with horror. It doesn't make much sense to live, but as long as you live, you can find interesting things. It's like you met me and I met you again. Orochimaru froze for a moment, stopped, turned his head and looked at Wang Li. This was originally what Orochimaru said to Kimimaro, and no third person would know it. But now that Wang Li said this, Orochimaru seemed a little surprised. Funny kid, I find that I admire you more and more. You should stay, I feel there should be more common topics between you and me. Wang Li looked at Orochimaru's admiring gaze, and couldn't find any trace of falsehood. But Wang Li didn't dare to stay. After all, what I said just now is a copy of Orochimaru. If time goes on for a long time, sooner or later he will show his feet. When the time comes, Orochimaru will become angry, but Wang Li can't resist it. Don't you think that if you stay in one place, there will be less interesting things? You and Kabuto can still study things, but I'm different. That's right. Orochimaru laughed loudly, and then a pair of snake pupils stared at Wang Li. No matter when, you will be my friend. After all, there are too few people who think like me. Wang Li gave a wry smile. Orochimaru's words, Wang Li couldn't believe it easily. When the two reached the door, Orochimaru suddenly asked again, "This time I killed third generation, do you really hate me at all?" Others may not know the purpose of Orochimaru, but Wang Li is very clear. Orochimaru attacked Konoha village for three main reasons. First, if you can't get the body of Uchiha Itachi, then you should go back and choose the body of Uchiha Sasuke. Second, as the apprentice of third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, what Orochimaru has done has not been recognized. Orochimaru wants to prove to his master Sarutobi Hiruzen. His choice is right. Third Hokage is old, Orochimaru wants him to die like a hero. Instead of dying in the hospital bed. Why should I hate you? Didn't you create a hero? Wang Li looked at Orochimaru with clear eyes. On the other hand, Orochimaru stood sluggishly, and the corners of his mouth began to rise slightly. What an interesting kid, Orochimaru said, patted his hands, and then said to the woods, "Kabuto, this mission is cancelled." Not long after, Yakushi Kabuto jumped from the tree, gently pushed down the glasses with the middle finger and said, "Master Orochimaru, since the mission is cancelled, can the subject be brought over this time?" "Bring here, Wang Li-kun is not an enemy, but a friend." Orochimaru nodded slightly and said. Wang Li let out a sigh of relief. "Fortunately, I answered correctly, otherwise there will be an ambush on the road. Whether it can be skipped at that time is another matter." But even though Orochimaru said so, Wang Li didn't dare to be careless. "After all, you can sail the 10,000 years ship carefully, and you may lose your life once if you care about it." Not long after, Yakushi Kabuto walked over with a group of children. The youngest child is about 5 or 6 years old, and the oldest is only 12 or 3 years old. Among them was a 12 or 13-year-old girl with red hair that attracted Wang Li's attention. Fragrant phosphorus. As soon as Wang Li's voice came out, the red-haired girl stopped and looked at Wang Li with confused eyes. "Oh, Wang Li, does Kun know such a girl?" Wang Li gave a wry smile. "More than just an acquaintance, it's so familiar. After Uchiha Sasuke, a member of the Eagle team, he only needs a bite to resurrect the existence with full blood. It's simply a mobile blood pool." "Yes, I know. Then do you need to take her away?" Wang Li's heart moved all of a sudden. He was no longer afraid of being injured by his side, and the wound healed completely after a bite. Moreover, aromatic phosphorus has a strong perception ability, so that it can also predict danger in advance. But Wang Li still shook his head. "No need. I've already prepared to bring a ghost lamp Shueyu, and if I bring along the fragrant phosphorus, everything in the future will get in the way." However, the ability of aromatic phosphorus is really greedy, and then Wang Li said, "Thank you, Master Orochimaru, train her well, maybe I will come back and take her away in the future." "Okay, Kabuto, bring the other children in, I want to take this girl as a disciple." "It's Orochimaru-sama." Xianglin watched a group of children wailing and being pushed in, blinking at Wang Li. Xianglin knew very well, because this man who was about his age said something. Oneself and other children will have a different future naturally. Xianglin walked slowly to Wang Li's side, and while Wang Li was not paying attention, he bit Wang Li's neck with one bite. After about 3 seconds, aromatic phosphorus slowly moved away from his mouth. "Wang Li-kun, I will be your wife when I grow up." Wang Li clutched the bite marks on his neck, and the corners of his mouth twitched. "I just want to save the fragrant phosphorus, so why is it unilaterally privately reserved for life? If I knew this, I wouldn't talk too much. Wang Li-kun, people are interested in you, have you considered taking her away?" Orochimaru giggled and said, "No, it's too dangerous for me to go this time. Let Orochimaru-sama teach her well. Also, I will take care of your fiancé." Wang Libai glanced, and didn't want to return Orochimaru's words. After Yakushi Kabuto came out, he hurriedly left. Wang Li and Yakushi Kabuto walked for about half a day to arrive at the northern branch of Orochimaru. When the ninja guarding the door saw Yakushi Kabuto, his face instantly became serious. "Master Kabuto, why are you here? Come and bring someone, the kid from the Ghost Dang family, and just leave it to this adult." The guard glanced at Wang Li in amazement. Wang Li looked like he was only 12 or 13 years old, and he could be crowned as an adult by Yakushi Kabuto. This kind of existence is definitely not a janitor who can offend him, so he hurried back to the base. Not long after, a young man with white hair was dragged out by the guards. As for this white-haired boy, the muscles all over his body seemed to be melting. Wang Li gave a wry smile and threw the prepared kettle to Gui Deng Shuiyu. After Gui Deng Shuiyu heard the sound of water, he immediately became energetic and poured water into his mouth with a big mouth. After a while, the body that originally seemed to be melting began to firm up. The eyes were radiant again. You are Ghost Deng Shuiyu, right? Wang Li said with a slight smile. Gui Deng Shuiyu turned his head slowly, and looked at Wang Li for a long time. Then his body rushed towards Wang Li, stretched out his fist and punched Wang Li in the face. Yes, it's my uncle. Yakushi Kabuto smirked at this, and took a step back secretly. Wang Li gave a wry smile. Yakushi Kabuto's every move naturally did not escape Wang Li's eyes. Although Orochimaru recognized Wang Li, Yakushi Kabuto was still upset about the previous beating. Wang Li stretched out his hand and directly grabbed Gui Deng Shuiyu's arm. The corner of Gui Deng Shuiyu's mouth rose slightly, and the arm that was originally grasped by Wang Li suddenly turned into water. But the fist still moved towards Wang Lihammer. Wang Li hurriedly took a step back, avoiding Gui Deng Shuiyu's fist, with a disapproving smile on his face. This is the hydration technique. Yes, watch me beat you up today. Beat me. I not only know that you are hydration technique. I also know that hydration technique's biggest weakness is this. As Wang Li stretched out his right hand, countless electric lights were emitted from his right hand, and the electric arc kept beating nearby. Gui Deng Shuiyu was immediately taken aback when he saw this, and backed a few steps. Stop it. Stop. Can you speak well next? Yes, you stop talking first. Wang Li smiled triumphantly, then put away the chidori. Okay, then come with me, I'll lead you to end the blood mist and revive the 7 ghost swordsmen. What, are you serious? If so, I am willing to go with you. Wang Li and Ghost Deng Shuiyu sat on the big boat. Gui Deng Shuiyu has been playing with the decapitation knife he has just started, and his face is full of excitement. Wang Li was lying beside the boat like a dead fish. You said before that you want me to revive the 7 ghost swordsmen. Is this true? Yes, yes. Then the end of the blood mist is true. Yes, yes. Wang Li replied weakly. At first, just after coming out of Orochimaru's stronghold, Gui Deng Shuiyu was still a little wary, and was not willing to talk to Wang Li. But since Wang Li took the ghost lamp Shuiyu to the country of waves, and got the beheading sword, the whole person has become a talkative. 2 questions were repeated again and again. If it weren't for Wang Li's seasickness at this time, I would definitely let Gui Deng Shuiyu taste 1,000 birds. At this time, a crew member walked to Wang Li's side, and when he saw the beheading knife in the hands of Gui Deng Shuiyu, he took a step back in fear. Then he said apologetically. The 2 adults are embarrassed, because the previous wind and waves were too big, the hull suffered a lot of damage. It needs to be docked for a period of time for repairs. I wonder if the trip of the 2 adults has been delayed. Wang Li immediately regained his spirit when he heard the words leaning on the shore. He grabbed the crew's hands tightly with both hands, and said almost imploringly, please make sure to get to the shore. Good guest. The crew has never seen such a customer who is eager to dock, but they are 2 ninjas, although they are not old, they are not something ordinary people can fight against. And one of them is Konoha shinobi. Konoha's genin is not comparable to ordinary ninjas. After more than half an hour of torment, a piece of land slowly came into Wang Li's eyes. Wang Li didn't have to wait for the ship to land anymore, so he jumped off and ran quickly on the sea. Hey, Wang Li-kun, don't be so anxious. Gui Deng Shuiyu shouted several times, but saw that Wang Li had no intention of coming back. Immediately overturned the boat. However, the ability of Ghost Deng Shuiyu to walk on water was not as proficient as Wang Li. The sea surface is so big that the waves are so big that Ghost Lantern Shuiyu was almost caught in the undercurrent several times. Fortunately, the Ghost Lantern Shuiyu hydration technique barely ran ashore. As soon as he went ashore, he found Wang Lisheng lying on the beach in a big letter, with the word happiness written on his face. Isn't it, as a ninja, you are so seasick? Wang Lian saw the weakness of his face, but it did not prevent Wang Li from staring at the Ghost Deng Shuiyu with the fiercest eyes. What do you know? It doesn't necessarily matter whether you are stunned or not and whether you are a ninja. Those pirates who are at sea all day long, Tenten said that they want to become the king of pirates, don't know how to swim. Ghost Deng Shuiyu glanced at Wang Li inexplicably. As a ninja in the land of water, he has never heard of a pirate who knows no water. But seeing Wang Li being so serious, Gui Deng Shuiyu began to wonder if he had too little knowledge. You are talking about them, they are alien and can't be counted. Wang Li turned his head and looked suspiciously at Ghost Deng Shuiyu. I began to wonder, is it possible that the pirates of this world can't be water? In this way, the two people looked at each other awkwardly. At this moment, a woman walked over and walked around Wang Li 3 times, still looking at Wang Li. Are you Konoha shinobi? Wang Li was stunned for a while, and he came over for nearly 3 seconds, and forehead protector, who took off his forehead with his hand, smiled and said, yes, I don't know what to do with me. The woman hesitated for a moment, and then continued to ask, then do you know a ninja named Jiraiya? Jiraiya used to be home from all over the world, collecting materials everywhere. It is not surprising to come to this small island. No, what's wrong? Did he molest any girl? For a while, the woman put her hands up desperately, but her face showed a hint of joy. No, by the way, are you Jiraiya-sama's apprentice? Wang Li looked suspiciously at the woman in front of him. But to be reasonable, his Rasengan did learn it from Jiraiya. So it's not an exaggeration to say that Jiraiya is half an apprentice. That's right. Is there anything? The woman's face was even more happy, and she patted her hands directly. Great, Miss Shizuka is finally waiting. Jingxiang. Wang Li kept repeating the name in his mouth, always feeling very familiar. Nakako Shizuka. Wang Li stood up incredulously. It seems that you were right. Miss Shizuka is nearby. I'll find her. Wait, actually I am not Jiraiya's apprentice, I just met him. If according to Wang Li's memory, Shizune is a female ninja in the village of Neidshi. And this fuzzy village is a matriarchal village. All the people living in it are women. Fuzzy village has an unwritten rule. The village chief can compete with powerful people, and if he wins, then the other party will enter Zufuzi village. And Jiraiya and the mayor of Fuzzy village drew a tie, agreeing to the next generation to end the battle. The next head of Fuzzy village is Shizuka. On Jiraiya's side, Uzumaki Naruto should have come to fight, but now Wang Li's nonsense has been self-defeating. The most important thing was also encountered by Wang Li here. You don't need to explain too much. When Miss Neidshi comes over, you can explain it slowly. Wang Li's mouth twitched constantly as he looked at the woman who ran away. If this continues, Uzumaki Naruto will find himself desperately wondering. But he will definitely die in the Shira field. Shuiyu, do you think it is too late to go to sea? Ghost Deng Shuiyu glanced at Wang Li inexplicably. It was Wang Li who was crying and shouting to go ashore. It was Wang Li who was anxious to go to sea again, and he couldn't figure out the person in front of him. The ship needs to dock for repairs. I'm afraid it won't be able to get out of the sea in a short time. For a while, Wang Li's face was ashes. It seems that this period of evil fate, oneself can't escape. Not long after, 2 women ran over quickly. After the 2 walked to Wang Li's side, they kept looking at them. Wang Li felt like a monkey in a zoo, allowing others to watch. Are you the disciple of that Konoha shinobi? Nadeshiko Shizuka said. Can I say no? Wang Li gave a wry smile, trying to make the final struggle. No, this is the grievance of the previous generation. You have the responsibility and obligation to solve it, not to escape. Don't let us look down on Konoha shinobi. The corner of Wang Li's mouth twitched, and he pulled the entire Konoha all at once. It seemed that he really couldn't escape it. Ghost Deng Shuiyu hurriedly pulled Wang Li's clothes and asked in a low voice, who is this woman? If you continue to develop like this, you can be regarded as my fiancé. Chapter 64. Gui Deng Shuiyu was startled. His eyes kept beating between Neidshi Shizuka and Wang Li. The 2 are only 12 or 13 years old, but they are already unmarried couples, which is really hard for Gui Deng Shuiyu to accept. Can you say it again? What is the relationship between the 2 of you? I don't think this thing can be counted. This is a problem of the previous generation. There is no need to involve our generation, you say, Miss Shizuka. Wang Li said with a smile at Nadeshiko Shizuka. Before Shizuka Nadeshiko spoke, the guard by his side, Tokoba, walked out. With its strong muscles, Guidang Shuiyu retreated several steps in a row. You mean, Fuzzy Village is a place that doesn't talk about credibility and rules. Although Tokoa did not make any threatening expressions. But she stood there with an inexplicable aura. Yes, so let's fight. Nadeshiko Shizune said. Isn't she your fiancé? Why is she going to a duel all of a sudden? Guidang Shuiyu approached Wang Li and whispered. Wang Li gave a wry smile, walked to the side of Shizuko Nadeshiko, and said seriously, the matter between a man and a woman should be settled by two people, not through a duel. What do you know? Shizuka also has her own difficulties. Chong Yi snorted, his face extremely angry. Wang Li was upset. According to the plot, Nadeshiko Shizuka should have not met her first love yet, or should be full of desire for love. How can you be full of duels? Sha missed, Wang Li said tentatively. Suddenly, Nadeshiko Shizuka's face dimmed, while Tomoe's face was extremely angry. Rushing to Wang Li's side, he grabbed Wang Li's collar with one hand. Now that you know it, you still said that on purpose. What kind of mentality do you have? Wang Li's heart slammed. Sagiri is Shizuka's first love, and is the only merchant who can freely enter and leave the village. Originally, the two were planning to make a private life. However, she was attacked and died. From then on, Nadeshiko Shizuka sealed her heart and kept improving her strength. But the most important thing is that the two of them should not be together at this time. The butterfly effect. I refuse a duel. A person's marriage should not be determined by a duel. This is irresponsible to two people. And don't you think we are too young? Wang Li smiled awkwardly, and then turned around. I want to go. Don't you think this is you're in my mission? Nadeshiko Shizuka quickly walked to Wang Li and blocked the way. Don't you just want to fight? I'll come with you, don't get entangled again after the fight. Guidang Shuiyu snorted coldly, drew out the Guizan knife and crossed it in front of him. It is not you that I want to duel, but Jiraiya's apprentice. Nadeshiko Shizuka ignored the ghost Dang Shuiyu, still staring at Wang Li stubbornly. The young and energetic ghost Dang Shuiyu stopped doing it immediately, and rushed towards Nadeshiko Shizuka with the Guizan broadsword. That's not for you. Nadeshiko Shizuka didn't rush to see the ghost Dang Shuiyu in a hurry, took a few steps back quickly, and then threw the robe out. Since you want to fight, then I will solve you first, and then fight him. Nakazuliu. Vacuum dance. For a time, countless Kuuzuo Shizuka threw them out of her hand, as dense as a drizzle. Wang Li, who was on the side, was almost injured by mistake, but fortunately he reacted quickly. However, Guidang Shuiyu was not so lucky, being hit by dozens of misfortunes on his body. Fortunately, Guidang Shuiyu would use the hydration technique, and all Kuu directly passed through the body. However, looking at the expression of ghost Dang Shuiyu, it was not as relaxed as it was on the bright side. Wang Li couldn't help laughing. Shizuka Nadeshiko's Nashiko Ryu dance in a vacuum is just a quick throwing out of kunai, at best it is a shuriken technique. So the system has not been prompted. It was Ghost Lantern Shuiyu's hydration technique. Wang Li couldn't figure it out a bit, why didn't it copy it all the time? The battle became fiercer. With the help of the hydration technique, Guidang Shuiyu approached Nadeshi Shizuka with difficulty. And Nadeshiko Shizuka was also the first time to see such a strange ninjutsu, and she panicked for a while. Ninfa. Down the whirlwind. Ding dong. Recognizing ninjutsu. Down the whirlwind. Nadeshiko Shizuka put one hand on her mouth, and then took a deep breath and blew it out vigorously. Suddenly a strong wind blew towards the ghost lamp Shuiyu. Ghost Dang Shuiyu was able to withstand a little bit at first, but then the wind pressure became stronger and stronger, and the whole person was blown away. Guidang Shuiyu was unwilling to get up from the ground. At this time, the body seemed to melt, and the water kept dripping down. It was the same as the situation at the first encounter at the Orochimaru base, obviously it was reaching the limit. This woman is amazing, but don't underestimate me. Ghost Dang Shuiyu was about to rush forward, and Wang Li directly reached out and blocked the way. Okay, with your current strength, it's not his opponent. The hydration technique is indeed very strong, but now Guidang Shuiyu is only 13 years old. Moreover, Guizan Dadao has just started and has not been familiar with it. There is still a little gap with Nadeshiko Shizuka, who has been fighting non-stop for the time being. If it continues, although Gui Deng Shuiyu can hurt the other party, she is afraid that she will suffer a lot of injuries. Wang Li threw the kettle on his waist to Gui Deng Shuiyu, although he walked a few steps forward and said, I will be your opponent, but it's just a pure competition. Don't get married without getting married. Speak before you win. Tokoyo sneered, and began to seal with both hands. Then he slapped hard on the ground. Earth style, earth prison. For a while, the surrounding earth kept shaking, and the surrounding trees fell down one by one, leaving a clearing. In the outermost part, countless rocks were erected to surround Wang Li and others. It looks like a Roman arena. Ding dong. Recognizing ninjutsu earth style, earth prison. Okay, let's start the competition. Tokoyo gave a soft drink and then quickly left, while Gui Deng Shuiyu, who was sitting on the ground, ran to the side as soon as he saw his posture. Ding dong. Trigger selection mission. 1. Defeat Nadeshiko Shizuka. Reward. Wind attribute chakra. 2. Defeat Nadeshiko Shizuka with one hand. Reward. Synthesis number 1. 3. Kill Nadeshiko Shizuka. Reward. Synthesis times 2. Looking at the reward Wang Lilian, Jonin couldn't help but rejoice. Now I have countless ninjutsu synthesis ideas, such as whether Rasengan and Chidori can launch Rasengan. Can Thunder Prison and Great Fireball Technique create a sea of fire? And can you synthesize 3 kinds of ninjutsu at the same time? The most important thing is to combine Uzumaki Naruto's Forbidden Technique and Shadow Clone Technique. I have been watching the last synthesis opportunity before, and dare not use it indiscriminately. Now the task is finally refreshed. But after all, Wang Li and Nadeshiko Shizuka had no grievances and no grudges, and there was an ambiguous relationship. It is impossible for Wang Li to destroy the flowers with his hand. I choose to. I'll give you a hand, come on. Nadeshiko Shizuka's face showed anger. I have been training hard all year round and have never failed. But the man in front of him despised himself so much, this is definitely the biggest insult of his life. Nadeshiko Shizuka secretly made up his mind. After defeating this ignorant boy, he must regret it. Nakazulyu. Booming gale fist. Nadeshiko Shizuka leapt high, then slammed hard to the ground. For a while, the stones on the ground splashed and bounced around like bullets. Ding dong. Identify ninjutsu, Nadeshiko. Booming gale fist. The corners of Wang Li's mouth rose slightly, and for a while, the evil interest grew. Nakazulyu. Booming gale fist. Wang Li learned from Nadeshi Shizuka, leaping high and hitting the ground with a punch. The chakra on his body kept converging towards his arms, and a strong wind kept bombing towards the ground. The ground exploded directly. Nadeshiko Shizuka's pupils shrunk slightly, but she tried to escape but took a bit slower, and was directly flew out by the blown stones. How is it possible? Nadeshiko. The booming gale fist is a ninjutsu unique to Fuzzy Village. How can this kid do it? And this move is at least 3 times larger than Shizuka's power and range. Tomoba's face was revealed. Unbelievable expression, said to himself. Nadeshiko Shizuka stood up from the ground without admitting defeat, and took out Kuwu's eyes and stared at Wang Li. How did you use my ninjutsu? Who taught you, or you have been paying attention to our Fuzzy Village? Wang Li smiled triumphantly and showed his Sharingan. Just learned, your ninjutsu is my ninjutsu. And my ninjutsu is mine. Nadeshiko Shizuka glanced at Wang Li unwillingly, and chuckled softly. Nakazulyu. Vacuum dance. Seeing countless Kuwu flying over, Wang Li didn't rush and began to seal with one hand. Lightning style. Chibin Chidori. Wang Li flicked with one hand, and countless needle-like arcs flew out. It's not that Wang Li can't continue to imitate this ninjutsu. It's just that the current Kuwu shuriken is too expensive, and Wang Li is really reluctant to throw out so much at once. The arc collided with the kunai, and the light flickered for a while, and all the kunai of Nadeshiko Shizuka fell to the ground. But there were a few electric arcs that directly stabbed Nadeshiko Shizuka, and there was a muffled hum. Why can't I mobilize chakra? Nadeshiko Shizuka looked at her hands in horror. Ninjutsu, which was already practiced and made perfect, was completely unavailable at this time, and even a certain part of chakra in the body was difficult to mobilize. After trying several more times, Shizuka Nadeshiko reacted and looked at Wang Li unwillingly. Wang Li walked to Nadeshiko Shizuka confidently. Chidori Chibin is different from other Chidori-derived ninjutsu. Chidori Chimodo's damage is very small, at best it can cause paralysis. However, the main function of Chidori Chiban is to temporarily seal the enemy's meridians and create a sealed acupoint state, which is similar to Gentle Fist. If you can seal the opponent's acupuncture points in the battle, then the battle will be half won. Although Wang Li doesn't know much about intravenous acupuncture points, it is because Chidorichimodo has a lot of money. How about it, can you give up? Although Shizuka Nadeshiko is very unwilling, but chakra is the root of the ninja. If you can't use chakra, the ninja is just a stronger ordinary person. I admit defeat. Wang Li smiled slightly, walked to Nadeshi Shizuka's side, and stretched out his hand to stroke him. Although you have fate on your back, there is no need to be bound by your heart. Nadeshiko Shizuka looked at Wang Li's handsome and sunny face, and her body trembled. His master also said this sentence to himself. But at that time, because of Shao's death and the unwillingness in his heart, he didn't take these words to heart at all. Now that Nadeshiko Shizuka has lost, she has also let go of her persistence, and her heart will inevitably shake when she hears this sentence. I understand what you mean, so can you help me unblock the acupuncture points? Wang Li was stunned for a moment. How could he unblock the acupoints? Even the knowledge of the ninja is half-hearted, not to mention the lifting of the cave. This thing will be removed after a while, just wait a moment. How long? You should know how important chakra is to ninjas. Suddenly, a cold sweat broke out on Wang Li's forehead. The ghost knew how long this seal would last, and looking at Nadeshiko Shizuka's appearance, he would never give up if he didn't lift it. It looks like you don't know, then I will follow you until the seal is lifted. The corner of Wang Li's mouth twitched. If the ship was repaired faster and the seal was automatically lifted slower, wouldn't it be completely dependent on himself? At this time, I went to the country of water, which happened to be in the legendary Blood Mist. Wang Li must be careful and cautious. If you bring another oil bottle, something will happen sooner or later. Just when Wang Li was in despair. When I think of Tsunade's help to lift the seal set by Shizune, healing jutsu is used. Just find the right location, you can quickly unlock the hole. Come and point out where you just hit, and I'll help you. Nadeshiko Shizuka nodded slightly, her face suddenly blushed, and after hesitating for a while, her right finger pointed to her left hand. Wang Li put his hand up without hesitation, and he understood everything with healing jutsu. Although Wang Li did not see Byakugan, he could clearly feel the flow of chakra in his body when he put his hand on Nadeshiko Shizuka's hand. At a certain position, there was a violent thunder attribute chakra, which blocked chakra's whereabouts like a roadblock. Wang Li slowly mobilized chakra to stimulate the acupuncture points. As Shizuka's body trembled slightly, the chakra on his arm flowed and instantly returned to normal. Nadeshiko Shizuka's face was happy, and then she looked a little bit disappointed. It is indeed unobstructed, then there is still here. Nadeshiko Shizuka said, moving her finger to her thigh. Wang Li hesitated, but didn't think much, put his palm on it again, and began to use chakra. A few seconds later, the thunder attribute chakra was ruled out by healing jutsu, and Nadeshiko Shizuka moved her feet a few times, revealing a hint of joy on her face. Then Nadeshiko Shizuka walked to Wang Li's side, pointed her abdomen and urged. Here, Wang Li gritted his teeth and then put his hand on it. The abdomen is the central location of chakra. All chakra must flow out of the abdomen. Now that Nadeshiko Shizuka has hit 3 Chidori Chibans in a row, it is strange to be able to mobilize chakra. Soon the thunder attribute chakra was cleared, and Nadeshiko Shizuka blushed suddenly. Seeing the place where Nadeshi Shizuka's fingers were staying, Wang Li ran past 10,000 alpacas in his heart. On the other hand, Tomoba, the guard of Shizuka Nadeshiko, grabbed Gui Deng Shuiyu's collar with one hand and dragged it away like garbage. Wait, let me see again. Look again, and I will blind you. After Wang Li's efforts, the seal on Nadeshiko Shizuka's body was finally lifted. For the rest, the position is really awkward. Even if Wang Li's face is extremely thick, he is not embarrassed to post it to perform healing jutsu. However, the rest did not hinder the normal use of ninjutsu, and Nadeshiko Shizuka would definitely not be able to find out as long as he didn't look at it specially. Now that the acupoint closure is lifted, can you go back to the village? Wang Li wiped the sweat from his forehead and smiled slightly. Back to the village. Why do I want to go back to the village? Nadeshiko Shizuka looked at Wang Lidao innocently. Wang Li was stunned. Although I was taught since I was a child, the more beautiful the girl, the more I couldn't believe it. But this is the first time I have seen this kind of thing. Didn't you say that you will let me leave after the seal is lifted? Yeah, let you go. But we happen to be on the same road, so what can I do? The corner of Wang Li's mouth twitched, and he felt that he had been completely beaten. Just trying to explain, Nadeshiko Shizuka said again, "You're doing this to me, is it possible that you want to pat your butt and leave?" Wang Li suddenly felt that he couldn't wash himself when he jumped into the sea. Just from the moment to help Nadeshiko Shizuka to lift the seal, there will be such an intimate action. But just like that, Wang Li kept his distance at all times. But the last thing he didn't want to happen, he still happened. Wang Li completely gave up. Nadeshiko Shizuka's personality is relatively stubborn, otherwise he would not keep training after the death of Xiaowu. Now that she had made up her mind, she was afraid that she couldn't look back without a stronger impact. Therefore, Wang Li also gave up persuasion. Suddenly Wang Li had a little tail. No matter what Wang Li did, Nadeshiko Shizuka followed behind him. Even when Wang Li turned his head when he was peeing, he could see the surprised expression of Nadeshiko Shizuka. Wang Li quickly ran to Guidang Shuiyu without paying attention, and hooked his neck with one hand, and the other hand started beating an electric arc. "Shuiyu, I'm not a bad talker, go and persuade the two of them away, or else you can get an idea about it with electrotherapy." Guidang Shuiyu's heart is crying. After the body didn't stop, he was afraid of Wang Li's chidori and accidentally nodded himself. "Aren't you embarrassing me? Those two women are so powerful, I'm going to die." Just as Wang Li was holding the chidori and kept on friendly discussions with Guidang Shuiyu, a crew member walked over with steady steps. When he saw Wang Li hooking Guidang Shuiyu's neck with his arm, he couldn't help but tremble all over. "Two distinguished guests, the ship has been repaired and can set sail at any time." Wang Li's face was ecstatic. As long as the boat can go to sea, then everything will be easy. Before that, Wang Li was still worried. If the boat is not repaired and stayed here overnight, will something dangerous happen? Then I can't go if I want to go. Seeing Wang Li's movement, Nadeshiko Shizuka hurried over, but before speaking, a pair of blood-red pupils appeared in her eyes. For a while, Shizuka Nadeko and Tomoha's eyes were dull. Taking this opportunity, Wang Li hurriedly pulled Guidang Shuiyu's collar and quickly ran to the boat. After the ship moved, Wang Li finally breathed a sigh of relief. Nadeshiko Shizuka calmed down, but when she saw the boat slowly leaving, her entire face went black. "Asshole, you use illusion. But you remember to me, no matter where you go, I will find you Shizuka and become your wife." Changyi sighed helplessly. After so many years of contact, Nadeshiko Shizuka's character is very clear. As long as it was something she identified, she couldn't pull the cow back. However, after observation, Wang Li is indeed worthy to be the husband of Fuzzy Village. After several days of sailing on the sea, Wang Li was lying on the deck and his breathing began to be disordered. "I should have stayed there in the first place, this ship is really tormented." Nah. Wang Li was no longer simply seasick, but a series of complications caused by seasickness. Hungry and dehydrated, Guidang Shuiyu was holding food in one hand and water in the other, squatting in front of Wang Li. "Isn't it just a boat?" As for this, the corner of Wang Li's mouth twitched, and his hands sealed. For a time, Wang Li's whole body was thunderous, and the ghost lamp Shuiyu who was eating innocently on the side was instantly affected by the chidori current, and his whole body began to twitch. "Kekakik. Man, how many times have you used lightning style? The fish in the boat are all from you, and you don't want to eat our lightning style." Wang Li smiled awkwardly. The deck was hit by seawater everywhere. Every time Wang Li educates to be a dead ghost lamp water moon, everyone on the deck will be baptized with an electric shock. After several times, no one could be seen on the deck. "In short, we will arrive in the country of water soon, so please stop for a while." Hearing a few words immediately, Wang Li's eyes lit up and he got up with difficulty. Sure enough, a large piece of land just in front of the hull appeared in the clouds. However, as one of the 5 major countries, the country of water cannot see a few ships at all near the pier. "Wang Li, don't." Don't jump off the boat. Thump. Before Gui Deng Shuiyu's words could be finished, only a sound of falling into the water was heard. The corners of Gui Deng Shuiyu's mouth twitched and turned helplessly. Seeing the two jumping off the boat, the captain was overjoyed on his face, turned his head and shouted at Funakura, "Quick! Turn the bow of the boat. The devil is finally gone." The captain feels bitter. Every day he needs to be baptized by lightning style. I dare not say, I dare not ask. Under the urging of Wang Li, the route that usually takes 10 days to complete was completed in 5 days. Wang Li will definitely be blacklisted in the future. Wang Li ran fast, completely not like the salted fish on the deck before. At this time, it was like a beast that had been hungry for a long time, the kind of madness after seeing the food. Although Ghost Deng Shuiyu has trained for a while, his ability to walk on water is still far worse than Wang Li. Wang Li, who could only watch, stayed away from him. The 3 Kurigakur ninjas on the shore were discussing something, when suddenly one of them stood up and frowned and looked at the sea. "Look, my lord, there are 2 ninjas approaching. The one who is called an adult is a woman with long orange hair, giving a mature beauty. Although our water country is relatively chaotic, it is definitely not something other countries can casually inspect spies. Since they are coming, leave it to me." The female ninja fiddled with her hair, a smirk appeared at the corner of her mouth. "Yes, is that all killed? No, remember to catch alive, maybe there will be unexpected surprises." As soon as the voice fell, the 2 male ninjas quickly formed a seal, and a thick mist drifted over, directly hiding the 3 of them. Wang Li ran to the beach and immediately fell to the ground and breathed. After 5 days of baptism in the sea, for the first time I felt that it was great to stand on the ground. Sure enough, people should stand on the ground. About 5 minutes later, Gui Deng Shuiyu stumbled to the beach. When he saw Wang Li with a contented face, the corners of his mouth twitched. "Hey, do you want to jump off the boat every time?" As soon as the ghost lamp Shuiyu's voice fell, suddenly 2 figures jumped out quickly. Water style. Water dragon bomb technique. For a while, a water dragon hovered and rushed straight towards Wang Li. Wang Li frowned. Although he looked very weak, he was absolutely unambiguous between life and death. Multiple shadow clone techniques. There were about 50 or 60 shadow clone on the beach at a time, but each one just came out and immediately fell on the ground like a dead fish. Wang Li's mouth twitched, and he didn't expect his shadow clone to be so unreliable. Since you can't rely on shadow clone, you can only rely on yourself. Wang Li thought about dragging his tired body, his hands began to seal. Since the other party uses the water dragon bomb technique, then he also uses it. Water style. Water dragon bomb technique. A water dragon was pulled up from the sea for a while, and after a few twists in the air, it rushed towards the opponent's water dragon. Boom! The 2 water dragons collided with each other, and water splashed all over the sky. But Wang Li's water dragon was still standing in the air with dignity, looking at the 2 ninjas in contempt. "I will give you a taste of water dragon bomb technique." What the hell is this kid? Chakra is such a tough young man. Which ninja village is such an idiot who sent such a genius out as an undercover agent? Does it offend people? Wang Li's water dragon kept raging between the 2. However, no matter how fast the water dragon bomb technique is, it can move faster than the Jonin. So every time it seemed to push the 2 people very tightly, but they didn't threaten each other at all. Continue to consume. I see how long this kid can last. The corners of a ninja's mouth rose slightly, and his eyes looked at Wang Li like an idiot. The body dodges the water dragon at will, controlling at the limit distance each time. It looked like he was almost hit, but he could avoid it every time. This time the water dragon continued to attack, and a dive came to the 2 ninjas. When the water dragon drew past the 2 of them, a big knife slashed out of it and directly hit one of the ninjas. Why is there someone in it? And this isn't the devil's sword. The remaining ninja became solemn. Never thought that someone could hide in the water dragon bomb. But when she saw the body of Gui Deng Shuiyu, she couldn't help but trembled. Shui Hua technique. I remember that the Ghost Lantern family all died in the rebellion. Who is this person? The Ghost Lantern clan was once very famous in Kurigakur. Back then, Second Mizukage was a member of the Ghost Lantern family. However, due to 4th Mizukage's decree, various major families were suppressed, which led to the rebellion of the Ghost Lantern family. But how did the power of the family pass the power of Mizukage? After struggling for a short time, he was completely wiped out. The corners of Wang Li's mouth raised slightly, and he had a lot of methods, and the lightning style was the most effective against Kurigakure's ninja. However, Wang Li used water style to train the Ghost Lantern Shueyu. After all, Wang Li's invitation to Ghost Deng Shueyu was not to hold back, but to assist Terumi Mei. Wang Li, let me kill one more person. Okay, seize the opportunity. Wang Li smiled slightly, and then drove the dragon to rush towards the ninja. The water dragon hovered around and endured, and the ghost lamp Shueyu lurked in the water dragon, ready to attack at any time. At this moment, a huge ball of water suddenly fell from the sky. Wang Li's pupils shrank sharply, and he couldn't control the water dragon bomb, and quickly moved away. When the water ball touched the ground, it quickly spread around. Fortunately, Wang Li avoided it in time. However, Gui Deng Shueyu was not so lucky, and the whole person fell into the water style. Even with the hydration technique, it is difficult to escape the shackles of the water style. The response is pretty good, kid. Wang Li trembled all over, feeling that he was hugged by a pair of soft hands, and he was resisted by a pair of soft giants behind him. Seeing Kuwu on his neck, Wang Li smiled disapprovingly. You missed the best time to kill me. As soon as Wang Li's voice fell, a light blue lightning flashed all over his body. The person behind was hit by the electric arc, his whole body convulsed constantly, and then suddenly turned into a puddle of water and fell to the ground. Are you hydrated? Wang Li hurriedly opened Sharingan. Dealing with two Chunin can also give Ghost Deng Shueyu some exercise, but the one hiding in the dark definitely has the strength of Jonin. Even Wang Li must take it seriously. At this time, the surrounding area was enveloped by dense fog. Although it did not reach the point where it could not be seen, it had a great impact on Sharingan. Moreover, Wang Li's actual combat experience is much worse than those of real Jonin. In such a harsh environment, he suddenly fell into a passive state. Ninfa, down the whirlwind. Wang Li put one hand in front of him, took a deep breath and then protruded. Suddenly a hurricane blew out, blowing away all the dense fog in front of him. A figure hurriedly began to avoid. Brown hair, woman. Wang Li didn't dare to underestimate him because he was a woman. After all, there was no good thing to be a Jonin. If you despise the other person, you can easily send yourself to the gallows. Although the thick fog in front of Wang Li's eyes was blown away, there was still thick fog on both sides. Moreover, the effect of the downward whirlwind just disappeared, and the dense fog gathered again. If that's the case, don't blame me. Wang Li snorted coldly and kept making seals with his hands, then squatted down and pressed his hands on the sand. Sand done. Great burial of sand waterfall. In an instant, with Wang Li as the center, the ripples kept pushing outward. Feeling the sharp decline of chakra, I have to admire Gaara's amazing amount of chakra. You know that the current sand is not as good as 1/10 of Gaara's previous time. Wang Li closed his eyes, feeling the message sent by the sand. Catch it, let's see where you go this time. For a while, the surrounding sand kept shaking, and it lasted about 10 seconds before it stopped. Sand Shinobi, with such a large amount of chakra at this age, can it be Gaara? A beautiful voice came, but Wang Li couldn't be happy. It's not dead, what the hell is it? Do you want me to die? It's a pity that my little brother and sister are still alive. As soon as the voice fell, footsteps kept coming from the surrounding sand. And the footsteps are getting closer and closer, just like putting the Buddha in your ears. Then do it again. The sand waterfall burial just now cost Wang Li a large section of chakra. But this time, you don't need to cover so much, you only need a nearby piece. It's too slow, I'm already here. Wang Li's heart sighed, and he quickly turned his head to look. Terumi Mei, 100 million rewards. Terumi Mei, stop it, we are not enemies, I'm here to help you. Wang Li's first task in coming to the water country this time is to steal ninjutsu. The second is to help Terumi Mei end the blood mist and help him board Mizukage's seat. Of course Wang Li is not a virgin either. After all, even if Wang Li does not appear, Terumi Mei will successfully ascend to the throne of Mizukage. Wang Li's appearance is to make Terumi Mei owe herself a favor, cultivate her own power, and disrupt Uchiha Obito's rhythm. The main purpose is to rely on this Shira field to exercise one's actual combat ability. Since it was discovered that this female ninja was the future 5th Mizukage, Wang Li naturally had no need to fight. When Terumi Mei heard Wang Li's words, she hurried back and distanced herself from him, looking at Wang Li vigilantly. "Oh, you betrayed Konoha just to help me. But do you think I need your help?" Terumi Mei cradled his chest and smiled. "There are people dying every day in the blood mist, even if it ends one day early, it can reduce the death toll." Wang Li is not afraid. Terumi Mei does not believe it. Because the current Kurigakure has been devastated for many years and is on the verge of collapse. Countless mist shinobi died because of this. Now that someone comes to help, Terumi Mei is naturally more than happy. "Your strength is okay, but I'm more curious, what kind of person you are that made Konoha want to be so wanted?" Terumi Mei said, pulling out a leaflet from her chest and threw it at Wang Li. Wang Li caught the leaflet, and could still vaguely feel its temperature. "I'll go. 100 million. Where does that woman get so much money?" Wang Li stared blankly at the wanted order in front of him. Most of the places in the wanted order are Wang Li's self-portraits, but Wang Li in the self-portraits looks abominable and looks like a big bad guy at first glance. And below the self-portrait is a string of numbers. At the beginning is a 1, followed by 8 zeros. Wang Li never thought that one day he would be so valuable. "You need to be captured alive, and you must be safely escorted to Konoha. There must be food and drink on the way, and you must not take any damage, otherwise you will be the enemy of Konoha. Did you abandon Konoha's new Hokage? Will she issue such a wanted warrant?" Wang Li gave a wry smile. In a sense, he really abandoned Tsunade. After seeing this content, Wang Li felt warm in his heart. "I'm here to help you, not to explain to you. You don't need to know what happened between me and Hokage." Terumi Mei was stunned for a moment, never expected that the kid in front of him would be so powerful. However, only strong people can do big things by drawing salaries from the bottom of the pan. But it is absolutely impossible to trust Wang Li completely. After all, people who completely believe in the enemy ninja village ninja, the body has long been thrown into the sea to feed the fish. "Oh, how are you going to help me?" Terumi Mei looked at Wang Li with interest. "Kill 4th generation." Terumi Mei trembled, then an angry expression appeared on her face. "You actually said in front of me that you would kill our Mizukage. Believe it or not, I will kill you now. Only by killing 4th generation will it be possible to end the blood mist, and do you think the current Yagura is the same as before?" For a while, Terumi Mei felt his chin and thought. Citrus Yagura was a milder person at first, but suddenly became cruel. Although Kurigakure's internal fighting has not stopped. However, the decree issued by Citrus Yagura after taking office has completely exceeded the scope of infighting. And the voice of Yagura's substitutions is getting louder and louder. This is Gui Deng Shui Yu walking over, scratching his head. The Guizan broadsword was dragged on the ground by him, leaving a deep gully. "It turns out that you know each other. Fortunately, my 2 swords were not too deep, because I shouldn't have killed anyone." Terumi Mei breathed a sigh of relief, and when she saw Ghost Deng Shui Yu, her eyebrows frowned. "Shui Yu, aren't you dead? Don't curse me, am I alive and well?" Gui Deng Shui Yu glanced at Terumi Mei impatiently. Although he survived, his entire family got in. Even his brother Ghost Lantern Manmoon died. "Wang Li, right, it seems that you came to Kurigakure this time with a lot of preparation. Looking at the Ghost Lamp clan, I don't need to kill you. You can talk about your plan." The appearance of the Ghost Light Shueyu made Terumi Mei less alert. "Kill 4th generation, let you sit on 5th Mizukage. Even if Yagura is dead, Mizukage's position is not my turn, and with your current strength, you want to kill 4th generation." Terumi Mei sneered, with a disdainful smile on his face. "Of course it's not killing it directly. You help me get to Yagura, and then I will help him execute the decree even more crazily, and completely press the big families to the limit." Wang Li paused halfway through, and looked at him with a smirk. "With Terumi Mei." The corners of Terumi Mei's mouth rose slightly, apparently already understanding Wang Li's plan. "Then I will collect those families, and you will be reused by Yagura more and more, and finally." "Yes, this is the rhythm. What do you think?" Terumi Mei's face grew more and more angry, and fire burst into his eyes. Suddenly a huge water spring appeared under Wang Li's feet, instantly covering Wang Li and the ghost lamp Shueyu. You actually planned so big that you even wanted to kill our Mizukage-sama. It's really unforgivable, Terumi Mei said, turning his head towards the two chunin in the distance. You two come over and arrest these two spies. I will give it to Master Mizukage myself. The two ninjas in the distance were stunned for a moment, and then ran over quickly. Master Terumi Mei, since it's a spy, can't you just kill it directly? Kill two people, one is a wanted criminal worth 100 million. The other is a ghost lamp remnant who owns a hydration technique. It is more valuable to catch it than kill it. Terumi Mei smiled and said to Wang Li, an act of blowing a kiss. Suddenly, a thick mist sprayed out from the mouth, directly covering the two mist ninjas. Ding dong, recognition of ninjutsu, boil style, skillful fog technique, no blood inheritance limit, failed to use. For a while, the two mist shinobi kept struggling, the clothes on their bodies were dissolved little by little, and finally there was no sound of struggling. Terumi Mei put away the ninjutsu, and the two have completely disappeared into the world. Water jail technique ceased operation. Wang Li and Guidang Shueyu looked at Terumi Mei with dumbfounded faces. What happened? Don't worry, these two guys were sent by Gaara to supervise me, and if your plan is spread, you and I will both die. So be careful, Terumi Mei said, yawned with her hand, and let the Buddha just do it. Is a trivial matter. Then let's advance to the village. How to implement this plan must be discussed in the long term. It turned out that Terumi Mei pretended to be just to paralyze the other two. Wang Li almost played Chidori, but fortunately, he stopped in time. At this moment, Wang Li's stomach rang unconvincingly, and his body could not help but collapse. Master Terumi Mei, can you let me eat something? I'm thirsty and hungry now. Terumi Mei glanced at Wang Li helplessly. I was almost killed by such a person just now. But there is nothing to eat now. You wait. Wang Li smiled slightly, and then ran to the sea. Chidori. As Wang Li yelled, the electric lights flew up, and the fish floated up with their belly turned over. Not long after, Wang Li ran back holding a dozen fishes. As for Guidang Shueyu, she did not know when she had collected a lot of dry firewood, her eyes kept shining. Wang Li, this time I want 5. Didn't you just eat it? And Terumi Mei is there, you can only eat 2. Wang Li, I hate you. Terumi Mei smiled helplessly, put one hand on her face and said indifferently, you guys eat, I'm not hungry. It's not that Terumi Mei is not hungry. It's just that as a seaside ninja village, the fish that has been eaten the most since childhood. Moreover, looking at Wang Li's appearance, he didn't seem to be someone who could cook any delicious food. After a short while, the fish meat was slowly roasted over a low fire, and the fragrance floated out continuously. And after Wang Li sprinkled some special seasonings, the fragrance was even more tangy. Terumi Mei, who was used to eating sea fish, couldn't help but swallow. Master Terumi Mei, would you like to eat one? Upon hearing that Wang Li was about to give the fish to Terumi Mei, Guidang Shueyu gave a murderous look. But when Guidang Shueyu saw Wang Li's eyes, his head straightened back. Don't eat, Terumi Mei yelled out very stubbornly, but due to being too greedy, the drool came out all of a sudden, spraying Wang Li's face. For a moment, Terumi Mei's face turned red, but she picked up a fish pretendingly and took a small bite with her mouth. Suddenly Terumi Mei seemed to have discovered a new world, and his eyes lit up. Eat all the fish bite after bite. After that, he didn't need to give it to Wang Li, so he took the second one by himself. And the mouth has changed from a small mouth to a big mouth, and I finished eating 3 times. When Terumi Mei was about to take the third article, they found that they were constantly looking at him. Suddenly, Terumi Mei's face turned red, but he didn't mean to give in at all. These fish were sprayed by my saliva just now, don't you still want to eat them? I don't care, Guidang Shueyu said as she was about to reach out for it, and suddenly found that Terumi Mei's beautiful eyes were looking at herself with murderous eyes. Immediately, Guidang Shueyu's fingers trembled and hurriedly collected it. Both eyes turned to Wang Li for help. Wang Li gave a wry smile and ran to the sea again. With a flash of electric light, dozens of fish were carried back. When the fish was almost grilled, Wang Li suddenly saw Terumi Mei licking his lips with an eager expression on his face. Master Terumi Mei, if you want to eat it, just take it, don't slobber anymore. For a while, Terumi Mei blushed to her neck. Believe it or not, what I will spray next time is not saliva. Wang Li trembled all over. Terumi Mei is a rare owner of the double bloodline, who wears boil style and lava style. Even Susanoo's armor can dissolve, let alone Wang Li's body. Shuiyu, you can only eat one bunch. Why can I only eat a bunch? It's not fair. Wang Li smiled slightly, raised his right hand, and countless arcs kept beating. Okay. Wang Li nodded in satisfaction, completely ignoring Gui Deng Shuiyu's pitiful eyes. After eating and drinking, Wang Li lay on the beach satisfied. On the other hand, Terumi Mei licked her fingers unexplainably, and turned her head to reach Wang Li's side. I didn't expect your cooking skills to be so good at a young age, and then your wife will have a good taste. Wang Libai glanced at Terumi Mei. How can women in the ninja world be like this? Can a grilled fish marry a wife? Then there is no need to have a house, a car, and a deposit. Even if it is caught up, it is difficult for ordinary people to deal with the gift. I'm still young, so why do you think about it? Terumi Mei smiled slightly, put her hands on Wang Li's shoulders, jokingly said, what do you think of me? Although I am a bit older, I can take care of others. Wang Li trembled all over. The trick, boil style, skillful fog technique, came out of the mouth. In case Terumi Mei is unhappy, it must not evaporate. Let's go to the village. Hey, don't worry, at least you teach me how to grill. Enter Kurigakure, there are villages shrouded in mist everywhere. This time I entered Kurigakure and did not bring Ghost Lantern Shuiyu. Because his beheading knife is so famous and conspicuous. If you enter the village, I am afraid that you will be discovered the first time. There are not many comings and goings in the village, even if they encounter it, they are full of exhaustion. Even many people have sadness on their faces. This is the most authentic Kurigakure. Ninjas are sacrificed all the time. Those ninjas who are serving the village for the sake of their families suddenly become victims. Wang Li gave a wry smile. Beginning in the Blood Fog, the Ghost Lamp clan has been exterminated, and the Wei Yoruichi clan has been exterminated everywhere is full of sorrows of death. In fact, it is not impossible to deal with Yagura, which only requires all the families to come together. But every family is unwilling to be the first bird. After the strength is weakened again and again, it is too late to make a move. This is our temporary base area. The base area is changed once a week, so I'm not afraid of being discovered by Anbu. Wang Li looked at the so-called base area in front of him and smiled awkwardly. It is not so much a base area as it is a few thatched huts, and there are even holes in the roofs. Entering the base area, a few ninjas sat on the ground to rest. One of the little boys wearing glasses immediately attracted Wang Li's attention. Kangjuro. When Chojuro heard someone calling his name, he immediately turned his head. Master Terumi Mei, who is this? Terumi Mei gave a smirk, stepped back and said, friend from the country of fire. Yes, I'm here. Halfway through Wang Li's words, he found that everyone in the room stood up. A pair of eyes were like wealthy wolves, staring at Wang Li. And everyone put their hands on the ninja bag. It was not a friendly welcome at first glance. Wang Li looked at Terumi Mei helplessly. But Terumi Mei pretended not to see it. Sitting on one of the chairs, playing with her hair, she seemed to be saying, come on, to Wang Li. I'm going. I got pitted again. Chojuro took off the double knives behind him, revealing a short sword wrapped in layers of bandages. Wang Li didn't dare to be careless. Because this double knife is Flounder. As one of the 7 ninja swordsmen, Chojuro, paired with Flounder, the more fighting the stronger. Chojuro used this trick to directly blow Uchiha Sasuke, who opened Susanoo. Strength is absolutely not allowed to gather together. The nearby ninja was about to rush up. One of the men reached out and stopped the crowd and walked up by himself. Wang Li was not happy at all. Because this person is green. One of Terumi Mei's close friends. The right eye is covered with a blindfold, but underneath is a Byakugan. Therefore, Ching has always been Konoha's most wanted object. Ao and Chojuro stood on both sides of Wang Li on the left and right, and were thoroughly prepared for the battle. Wang Li smiled helplessly. Kurigakure is a fighting nation. All ninjas graduated from school and must kill one of their classmates. Although 10 years ago, because Tayuya was no longer cut, one person killed all of the class and had to change the decree. But the blood in Kurigakure's bones is not scarce at all. If you blindly evade, you will be treated as a bonehead by Mist Shinobi's ninja and be bullied. Since you are here, let's go. Multiple shadow clone techniques. More than a dozen shadow clone appeared in a small room at a time. Chojuro rushed forward without hesitation, and several shadow clones burst in an instant. And Ching is the seal on both hands, and drops of water gather on the fingers. Water style. Qinglong is used to it. Ding dong. Recognize ninjutsu. Water style. Qinglong used to hand without the support of Byakugan, cannot cause the effect of sealing acupoint. A drop of water flew straight towards Wang Li, smashing 2 shadow clones along the way. Wang Li didn't dare to hold on with his body, and quickly dodged. Water droplets were wiped from Wang Li's side, and the clothes were directly penetrated. But before Wang Li had a firm foothold, Chojuro took the flounder and came to Wang Li. So fast, Wang Li's hands quickly formed seals, and suddenly the light of thunder scattered on his body. Lightning style. Chidori. Seeing that Chojuro was about to cut Wang Li, the arc on his body directly hit Chojuro. Chojuro had to retreat. The location that was hit was already blackened. This Konoha shinobi is amazing. As soon as Chojuro's voice fell, dozens of fine needles gathered by the thunder attribute chakra approached quickly. Although he quickly evaded, one shot hit his arm. For a while, Chojuro's arm became numb, and even chakra couldn't move it. At this time, 5 green waters ran towards Wang Li and surrounded Wang Li. At this time, Wang Li's body began to swell until it reached a limit. Boom! The violent shock wave caused by the explosion blew the roof away instantly, and several green bodies were also directly destroyed. What a fast speed! When is the speed at which it is used? This kid is really terrifying. If he is given a chance to grow, it will be the next Konoha's White Fang. Wang Li hid behind a tree, gritted his teeth and observed the movement inside the ruined house. Deal with 2 of those guys at the same time, you will definitely lose if this continues. Wang Li knew very well that Ching had Byakugan, and it was only a matter of time before he was found hiding here. In order to defeat the 2 of them, or even more, a ninjutsu with fast speed and strong offensive power is necessary. It seems I can only fight. The system chooses Rasengan and Chidori Chiban to synthesize. Ding dong. Recognizing ninjutsu. Ding dong. Ninjutsu synthesis drill is over. Ding dong. Identify whether ninjutsu synthesis Chidori Chimoto, Rasengan synthesis success rate 30%, synthesis failure rate 69%, ninjutsu mutation rate 1% as synthesized. Remaining number of synthesis 2. Compared with the previous Fei breaking technique, this success rate is already very high. There is 1 chance of success in the synthesis 3 times, which is definitely worth a try. The probability of ninjutsu mutation is still 1%, which seems to be a fixed value. Synthesis. Ding dong. Compositing. Please wait. Ding dong. Synthesis failed. Please keep up. Remaining number of synthesis 1. Wang Li's eyebrows frowned, and he had only 1 chance to synthesize after completing a few tasks, and that was all. This made Wang Li very painful. But Wang Li could not tolerate hesitation, and then gritted his teeth and shouted. Continue to synthesize. Ding dong. Identify whether ninjutsu synthesis Chidori Chimoto, Rasengan synthesis success rate 30%, synthesis failure rate 69%, ninjutsu mutation rate 1% as synthesized. Remaining number of synthesis 1. Synthesis. Ding dong. Ninjutsu synthesis. Ding dong. Ninjutsu synthesis succeeded. Remaining number of synthesis 0. Ding dong. Obtain ninjutsu, lightning style, spiral needle. Wang Li's face was ecstatic. Not only because the ninjutsu synthesis was successful, but because it was exactly the same as the ninjutsu that I had imagined. They are all needle ninjutsu. Although Chidori Chiban can seal holes with high speed and large numbers, their attack power is too low. If they don't hit key parts, they won't be able to create a decisive advantage. The paralysis effect caused by the thunder attribute chakra is also very short. But now the spiral needle is completely different. On the basis of the original Chidori, Rasengan's rotation characteristics have been added, and the penetration and instant blasting performance have been increased. After hitting an enemy, it can instantly inflict great damage on the opponent. If you hit a key part, you can even kill someone with one blow. Now that he has a new ninjutsu, Wang Li's confidence immediately increased, and he jumped out and looked at the two provocatively. Chojuro, who was about to rush forward, quickly retreated when Wang Li suddenly appeared. His eyes kept asking for help from Qing around him. Qing, this kid has no traps, right? Qing used Byakugan to confirm it 3 times before nodding slightly. I didn't find any ambush, but why he is so confident, I don't know. Since there is no ambush, you support me from a distance, and I will take his life. Wang Li looked at Chojuro who was rushing, the corners of his mouth raised slightly. Then his hands kept forming seals. Suddenly more than a dozen chakra balls appeared in front of Wang Li, and light blue arcs were constantly beating on the balls. With Wang Li's continuous seal, Chakra's ball quickly turned into thin needles, which looked only as thick as a strand of hair. Lightning style, spiral needle. Following Wang Li's roar, dozens of thin needles that jumped arc flew out. Wherever it passes, the air spins directly, causing a huge cyclone behind the needle. Qing saw the thin needles in front of her eyes and felt the abundant chakra in it. His pupils suddenly shrank, and he screamed at Chojuro. Nagajiro, run away, this is completely different from before. Terumi Mei, who had been sitting indifferently on the chair, also stood up all of a sudden, and yelled, no. Chojuro, run. Hearing the shouts of the two, Chojuro hurriedly flew back to both sides. The 3 flying needles flew past Chojuro. Although they did not hit directly, the cyclone behind the flying needles directly shattered Chojuro's clothes, even the flesh and blood under the clothes. Suddenly, Chojuro snorted, and the intense pain kept stimulating the nerves, and cold sweat came out at the speed that the naked eye could see. It's so powerful without a direct hit, if you hit it directly. Chojuro didn't dare to continue thinking about it, and he was afraid that if he continued thinking about it, he would completely shatter his fighting spirit. At this time, the flying needles continued to hit, and Chojuro quickly twisted his body, trying to avoid the next few flying needles. 1, 2, 3. The flying needles flew past Chojuro one by one. Although none of them hit, blood had flowed all over the body a long time ago, several muscles were torn, and even thick bones could be seen. Boom! The first few flying needles hit the ground and suddenly exploded violently. Directly blast a pit of nearly half a meter in the ground, and in the center of the pit, you can see the arc beating continuously. Chojuro's heart trembled when he saw the explosion behind him. This is even higher than the damage I expected before. If you hit someone directly, it will not be just a simple injury. I'm afraid it will be killed on the spot. Chojuro, be careful. Terumi Mei and Qing shouted in unison. Chojuro turned his head, and his heart beat quickly. At this time, the flying needle was almost in front of him, and there was no room to escape. Am I going to die? Chojuro completely gave up the resistance, closed his eyes and felt his life flash in front of him. His mouth couldn't help showing an unwilling smile. Wang Li, this is just a test, stop now. Chojuro is one of Terumi Mei's confidants, and he has great strength. If you give him a few more years, he will definitely have the strength of an elite Jonin. Even give him a little more time to reach cage level. The only one who can prevent this from happening now is the initiator of ninjutsu, Wang Li. Wang Li furrowed his eyebrows, and then his hands kept forming seals. The rotating speed of the spiral needle that flew out for a while began to slow down until it stopped. However, the impact force of the spiral needle has not been reduced. The spiral needle directly hit Chojuro and knocked him out. Fell to the ground and wailed. Fortunately, the spiral needle lacks the ability to rotate and blast, otherwise it is more than a simple knock-up. Terumi Mei now quickly came to Chojuro's side. After checking Chojuro's injury, Terumi Mei's face went black. The medical ninja. Call the medical ninja over. For a while, a female ninja ran over quickly, pressing her hands on the main wound on Chojuro's chest, and she kept performing healing techniques. This blood can't stop. Healing jutsu must be used to treat. We don't have a ninja who knows healing jutsu at all. Only one of Yagura's subordinates. A few words from the medical ninja instantly turned Terumi Mei's face black, hesitated for a moment and stood up and said, I'm going to find Yagura. Terumi Mei was about to leave when suddenly a trembling hand caught her, yelling. Looking down, it was Chojuro who was on the verge of death. Can't go, we were gathered together in a secret gathering. If Mizukage finds out, we will all die. Terumi Mei regretted it very much. Why did you bring Wang Li this pervert back? Why didn't you explain it directly at the time? Otherwise it won't be like this anymore. For a while, Terumi Mei knelt directly on the ground, buried her head on Chengjuro's chest, letting the blood stain her long hair. Why is it like this? It is clear that we will overthrow Yagura's tyranny together, why? As Terumi Mei said, tears were already streaming down involuntarily. Step aside. Terumi Mei, who was already very sad, turned her head angrily when she heard Wang Li's voice. But when he saw Wang Li looking at himself coldly, he swallowed directly when he reached his mouth. Say it again, get out of the way. If you don't want him to die. Hearing Wang Li's words, Terumi Mei immediately reacted, and hurriedly climbed a few steps to the side to make room for Wang Li. Can you really? Terumi Mei asked tentatively. After all, healing jutsu is a very advanced medical ninjutsu, not even an ordinary medical ninja. And Wang Li has so many combat types of ninjutsu, if he meets healing jutsu again, then Terumi Mei will doubt life. What pervert talent is in order for a 12 or 13-year-old child to learn so much ninjutsu? You know, many children at this age have just graduated from Shinobu Village. At this moment, Terumi Mei finally understood the meaning of Konoha's reward order. Such a talent, let alone 100 million, even 1 billion Terumi Mei is willing to come out. And because of this, Terumi Mei completely believed in Wang Li. After all, no village would send such a genius to other villages as an undercover agent. Unless that Yingmen was kicked by a donkey. Just shut up. Wang Li snorted, his face full of anger. Wang Li slowly placed his hand on Chengjuro's chest, and a burst of light suddenly lit up. Chojuro's chest healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. It's really healing jutsu, and this person is quite skilled, Chojuro can be saved. The medical ninja clenched his chest tightly with his hands, with an expression of ecstasy on his face. Terumi Mei and Ching couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. His eyes looked at Wang Li gratefully. On the other hand, Chengjuo looked at Wang Li with a wry smile. He was still shouting and screaming just now, and he was being healed by the enemy just now. The most important thing is that Wang Li caused his wounds. After about 10 minutes, Chengjuo's chest injury was almost healed. Although it still looks thrilling, the main internal wound has healed. Chojuro also completely escaped the danger of his life. Leave it to you next. Wang Li turned his head and said to the medical ninja girl. The medical ninja blushed and hurried over. Your medical ninjutsu is really good, can you teach me next time? Say it if you have a chance. Wang Li replied perfunctorily. The medical ninja girl lost her face for a while, and then squatted down quickly, with both hands starting to give Chojuro the next treatment. Wang Li walked to the side with a dark face, found a stone casually and sat down. Terumi Mei gave a wry smile, hesitated for a moment and walked to Wang Li's side. Thank you for your treatment of Chojuro, otherwise he will. Wang Li sneered and turned his head to look at Terumi Mei. With extremely aggressive eyes, Terumi Mei felt guilty. I don't like this kind of temptation, I don't like it very much. I don't want to have another time. Wang Li was angry, very angry. I kindly helped Terumi Mei and Kurigakure explain the blood mist. But the other party tried again and again. No matter how good the character is, the mentality has to explode at this time. Terumi Mei lowered her head, her face full of apologies. Sorry Wang Li, I didn't think about it well and should be stopped in time. Wang Li glanced at Terumi Mei coldly. Seeing the regret on Terumi Mei's face, the anger in her heart subsided a lot. So do you trust me now? Terumi Mei smiled helplessly, and looked at Wang Li seriously. Then you are still willing to act for us Kurigakure, for our water country. I am willing to pay any price. Terumi Mei did not expect Wang Li to help herself for free. No matter what Wang Li asked, as long as he did, as long as he had it, will definitely satisfy him. This is not just for me to be Mizukage, but also for all ninjas in Kurigakure. Okay, I believe you one last time, I hope you don't break your promise. A hint of joy appeared on Terumi Mei's face, and she opened her hands and hugged Wang Li directly. After struggling several times, he slowly released it. After the battle, it is no longer safe here. So we must immediately change to the next stronghold. Let's go there and discuss it in detail. Wang Li looked at the dozens of huge pits that had been blown up on the ground and couldn't help but laugh. If it weren't for such a huge explosion, Kurigakure's Anbu would have arrived early. If you continue to stay here, you will be exposed easily. Changing positions is a very necessary thing. Okay, I'll go with you. Warn you again, don't try me again. Terumi Mei's face looked very depressed, and she put her hands on Xiaoman's waist. Why do you kid hold such a grudge? Don't worry, you are my most trusted partner now. Wang Li followed Terumi Mei suspiciously. This time, the stronghold Terumi Mei took Wang Li to is in Kurigakure. As long as you walk out of the gate, you can see people coming and going. And this time the stronghold, the house is also much more luxurious. Although it is not comparable to the modern luxury decorations, it can be regarded as a good house in the ninja world. Terumi Mei led Wang Li into a small room. After confirming that no one was following, Terumi Mei pressed lightly on the table. Suddenly countless spells jumped out, and a transparent film covered the two of them. Well, so I won't be afraid of others eavesdropping. And only you and I know what I'm talking about today. Even my confidant, Chengju Langqing, wouldn't know a word. Wang Li nodded slightly. After all, this is a matter of life, and I don't want to have too many external factors. And Wang Li didn't want to bury himself in Kurigakure in order to survive the final battle. At this time Terumi Mei became serious. Any ninja is registered now, no matter how close you are to Yagura, you will be found out. But recently, a group of ninja school students are about to graduate. I will help you arrange an identity at that time. Wang Li touched his chin and nodded. If you want to add a ninja to a ninja village suddenly, you will definitely be targeted by Anbu. But if it's just a ninja school, then the risk is much smaller. As for how to help oneself get an identity, that's what Terumi Mei wants to do. If Terumi Mei can't handle this, he would not be qualified to be a 5th Mizukage. Yes, that's it. Okay, then you can stay here for a few days without moving, and wait for my news. Terumi Mei put away the serious expression on her face after speaking, and then smiled flatteringly. By the way, what are your requirements? I can stay with you if I want. Wang Li flipped directly over Byakugan. According to the plot, Terumi Mei should have never been married in his life. But looking at the way Terumi Mei is taking the initiative now, it definitely doesn't look like she can't marry someone. I'm still young, so I won't consider these for the time being. For a while, Terumi Mei's mouth pursed directly, and his face was full of unwillingness. Okay, I'll go first. If you need me, just tell me. Before that, I will send you some books to show you. Terumi Mei left, but she would come to Wang Li's place every day to flirt. Wang Li was driven away impatiently every time. However, under Wang Li's strong request, Terumi Mei sent a lot of books, many of which are fundamental to the ninja. Although Terumi Mei's face is full of doubts, these most basic books are like treasures to Wang Li. The originally mysterious chakra and ninjutsu began to become clear in Wang Li's eyes. Yi Uranus immediately looked at the book with relish, and the barrier was opened again. Wang Li glanced casually, and when he realized that it was Terumi Mei, he turned his attention to the book again. Brother Wang Li, I found that you are getting colder and colder towards me. What do you need your sister to do to be happy? Wang Li's eyelids twitched, pretending not to hear, and continuing to read the book. Seeing that Wang Li was indifferent to herself, Terumi Mei lowered her head in frustration, and directly put a piece of information on the table. Sometimes I really think you are not a child. Wang Li's heart trembled, and he hurriedly concealed his panic, and directly picked up the information. Dao Di Liren. Yes, this kid is about the same size as you, and he likes to wear a mask on his face. There are few friends, so it's best for you. Wang Li looked at the information in his hand and found that the Teodi Liren was worse than Terumi Mei said. Originally belonged to the Teodi family, he became an orphan directly because of the death of his parents. And it's a completely different kind in school. Don't make friends with people, don't talk to people, or even connect and touch. Even the students sitting next to it didn't know much about Teodi Liren. Definitely the best object. As for where the Teodi Liren went, Wang Li didn't even want to ask. As a change, there are always some people who have to sacrifice. Please check the information carefully and prepare for the graduation exam tomorrow. You must kill a classmate for the graduation exam. This shouldn't be a big problem for you. Wang Li nodded slightly. When I came to the ninja world, I was accustomed to life and death. Especially for Kurigakure, he has no feelings at all, and there is no guilt in his heart after killing. Yes, does anyone need me to show mercy? Terumi Mei smiled slightly and pushed a photo in front of Wang Li. She's called Shui Wuyucheng, please save her a life. If you can, help her again. Wang Li picked up the photo. In the photo was a lovely girl. Shui Wuyu Orange, I remember it. Early the next morning, Wang Li came to the ninja school. Wang Li was wearing a mask with a little bandage wrapped around him. Except for his hairstyle, he was just a reduced version of the peach ground without cutting it. But when he saw the classmates around him, Wang Li couldn't help but frown. The students in Kurigakure are completely different from the students in Keen Village. The students in Keen Village are friends with each other, and they can be trusted on the battlefield. As for Kurigakure's students, everyone's eyes were murderous. Directly put your classmates on the spot. But because of this, Kurigakure's ninja has very strong personal abilities. Wang Li stretched his waist lazily, letting himself deal with some students who hadn't graduated completely, without any motivation at all. However, because Wang Li was not motivated, he was caught by several eyes. It seems I was treated as a soft persimmon. After a pause for about half an hour, a murderous Chunin walked over. After scanning downward, he nodded in satisfaction. From now on, a group of 10 will go in for the competition. You only need to kill one person, so from today on you will be the genin of Kurigakure. At first, Kurigakure's graduation exam was to put everyone together to compete. As a result, Daodi didn't kill all of them in one breath, and directly changed the rules. Put everyone together and change it directly into a group of 10. Even if there is a particularly powerful ninja in a group, at most one group will disappear. Cannot affect the overall. At the beginning of the exam, Wang Li and others were driven into a small forest. Moreover, Wang Li found the figure of Shui Wuyucheng in this class. Well, the Shui Wuyu clan, I don't know if Bingdan has awakened. As soon as he entered the woods, everyone scattered and hid, while Wang Li stood on the ground without any intention of avoiding it. Li Ren is really a fool, and he doesn't know how to hide, and watch me go straight up and collect his head. A ninja gave a smirk, and then took out an uncautious approach to Wang Li. This person belongs to me. I have been grudges against me for a long time at school, so no one should rob me. Nonsense, you don't usually have any contact with him, but he has been laughing at me with his eyes, and he has long wanted to kill him. You mean you want to grab it with me? Why, not convinced. With Wang Li's insight, the movements of the few people hiding in the woods are naturally clear. The thing that made Wang Li dumbfounded was that the few people who were originally going to kill him actually fought because of the head-robbing problem. At this time, several shurikens flew towards Wang Li quickly. Wang Li easily escaped, and then one person holding a short sword ran straight towards Wang Li. Dao Di Li Ren, it's mine. Seeing that Wang Li didn't respond, the boy smiled triumphantly, and the speed of the knife in his hand rose a little. Wang Li stretched out his right hand, lightly pinched his index finger and middle finger, and directly sandwiched short sword. No matter how the boy struggled, the blade remained motionless. The strength is good, but the speed is a bit slow. The boy looked at Wang Li incredulously, never expected that the usual trash could be so strong. The strength of the two fingers holding the blade is not what a 12-year-old boy should have. Fooled, this guy is pretending to be a pig and a tiger. The boy hurriedly abandoned short sword and quickly retreated, but he didn't take a few steps back and felt like he had hit someone. Are you leaving like this? Don't you stay and have a good chat? The boy looked at Wang Li in horror, and then sat directly on the ground with his butt and peed in his crotch. Don't kill me, Li Ren, have you forgotten? We are good friends. Wang Li touched his chin and looked at Tian thinking. Seeing this opportunity, the boy took out a kunai from the ninja bag and pierced Wang Li's heart directly. I did it. I'm going to be a ninja. The boy saw that his own suffering had entered Wang Li's heart, with an unbelievable expression on his face, and then he became ecstatic. The boy hadn't been happy for long, when Wang Li in front of him suddenly turned into a puddle of water and spilled onto the ground. This is your last struggle, obviously you can run away. No, I was wrong, please give me another chance. The opportunity has been given to you, the next step is punishment. Wang Li picked up short sword unceremoniously, and slashed it straight down. Life is so beautiful, but you just want to die. I hope there is no ninja exam in your heaven. Wang Li dropped the short sword in his hand casually, grabbed the boy's foot with his hand, and dragged it on the ground. It's not that Wang Li is cruel. Just doing this can dissuade a lot of people who lack confidence and save a lot of trouble. After all, Wang Li has no interest in unilateral killings. I should be able to go out next. When Wang Li was about to walk towards the entrance, he suddenly thought of Terumi Mei's care, shook his head helplessly, turned around again and walked back. Wang Li sat calmly in the middle of the road, a corpse beside him still dripping with blood. No one dared to trouble Wang Li for a while. Isn't that girl already dead, right? After all, it seems to be a mere promise, not like someone who will take the initiative. Wang Li was suddenly one big and too big. Although Terumi Mei is just letting herself take care of it, but with Terumi Mei's character, it may be a temptation to come. When the time comes, the Shui Wuyu orange is dead, and on the surface it is kind, don't stabbing the knife behind your back. At this moment, a figure ran over and hid directly beside Wang Li, looking at Wang Li with pleading eyes. Please, save me. Wang Li touched his chin and laughed. Just now, I was still figuring out how to find Shui Wuyu orange, but who knew that he ran out at this time? You are not afraid that I will kill you. Hearing Wang Li's words, Shui Wuyucheng was shocked, and he took a few steps back with a dilemma on his face. At this moment, a figure jumped out, and a boy was carrying a small cloth bag behind his back. The bottom of the small cloth bag had long been stained red with blood, and it was falling drop by drop. Orange, as long as you promise to be with me, I can protect you out and make you a ninja too. But if you don't agree, I don't mind killing another. The boy gave a cold smile on his face. Then he took kunai and licked it lightly on his tongue. Shui Wuyucheng showed a look of fear on her face, and her figure stepped back. Please, help me, Liren, don't be nosy, others are afraid of you and I am not afraid. Wang Li sneered, jumped off the stone, and walked to Shui Wuyucheng. Has the task been completed? Ah, me, not yet, Shui Wuyucheng replied in a flustered manner, for fear of angering Wang Li. Then it's done now. As soon as Wang Li's voice fell, Shui Wuyucheng hadn't reacted yet. I saw a person suddenly appeared behind Jiro, holding Kumi and gently thrusting into the opponent's back. Threatening me, you are not qualified enough. Jiro looked at Wang Li in fear, and fell to the ground, crawling backwards. I'm sorry I was wrong, I gave you the qualifications, please don't kill me. Jiro wanted to get the backpack behind him. Ding dong, trigger selection mission. 1. Let go of Jiro. Reward ninjutsu. Water substitute technique. 2. Kill Jiro. Reward synthesis ×1. 3. Let Mizumusuki orange kill Jiro. Reward synthesis ×2. I choose 3. There is no doubt that San's reward is the best. It is also very easy for Mizusuki Shira to kill Jiro, just give her a little motivation. Look at me. Jiro looked at Wang Li subconsciously, but when he saw Wang Li's blood-red pupils, his body froze directly. No matter how hard I struggle, I can't move. Shui Wuyu orange, if you want to become Kurigakur Genin, kill him. Wang Li said, throwing away the kunai in his hand. Shui Wuyucheng didn't understand why the boy stopped moving suddenly, and was directly hit in the head by Kuwu, tears streaming from both eyes. Mizutsuki picked up kunai and walked to Jiro in confusion, struggling in her heart. Didn't he kill 2 people? I just need to take one away, won't I become a ninja? For a while, Jiro's face was ecstatic, his eyes blinked and he looked at Mizuki Orange, and motioned for him to take it in his backpack. Yes, you can go out for business after you do take it. Wang Li said with a smirk suddenly. But today, of the 2 of you, only one can get out alive. Why? Obviously there are fewer deaths, so why must we kill? Kurigakur's living environment is very simple, that is, the weak and the strong. If you were a ninja, you wouldn't even dare to attack your enemy. Sooner or later, he will die in the hands of the enemy. It is better to die in the ninja exam, and Wang Li only lost 2 synthesis opportunities. Wang Li slowly raised his hand and stretched out 3 fingers. When all my 3 fingers are retracted, it means that his illusion will be unlocked. At that time, the conditions are still the same, 1 death and 1 alive. Wang Li directly retracted a finger as he spoke. Mizuki Orange's heart jumped, and her eyes kept beating between Jiro and Wang Li. Can you not kill? Wang Li took another finger back, without any expression on his face. At this time, Jiro's face was very rich. I kept looking forward to Wang Li withdrawing the last finger, and was afraid that his murderous aura would make Shui Wuyucheng anxious. I think it's better not to kill people. Wang Li sneered. The world of ninjas is more cruel than you think. Wang Li retracted his last finger. Suddenly Jiro regained his freedom, and he drew out the kunai from the ninja bag and chopped it towards Ms. Mizuki Orange. Shui Wuyucheng backed away in fright, but still didn't completely evade the attack. A long cut was drawn on his arm, and blood ran through for a while. Silly woman, don't kill me with such a good opportunity, now you have no chance. Suddenly, Shui Wuyucheng had a chill all over her body, and the surrounding fog began to form flowers of ice. Wang Li's eyes lit up. This is the rhythm of awakening Bing Dun. I saw that Jiro began to freeze on his body, and Kuna stopped less than a centimeter from the heart of Mizuki Orange. Why? Obviously both can go out, why are you doing this to me? With a roar, Jiro completely frozen into ice. Even the chakra in the body has completely stopped functioning. This is Bing Dun. Wang Li was a little stunned. He thought that Bing Dun would be used as an air conditioner at most in the summer, but he didn't expect it to be so strong. About 3 seconds later, Shui Wuyucheng reacted. When I saw Jiro who had become an ice sculpture in front of him, his whole face turned pale. You are doing well, you are already a qualified ninja. With tears in her eyes, Shui Wuyucheng looked at Wang Li with gratitude and fear. Okay, go out with me. But before that, let me deal with some mice first. Wang Li said, his hands began to seal. The spiral needles hovered in front of Wang Li's eyes. Go. With several explosions, even the wailing sound was not heard, the only sound was the sound of blood flying. From the very beginning, Wang Li found those people peeking. Although he didn't intend to kill them at first, when Wang Li displayed Sharingan, he had completely declared their deaths. Because Sharingan's affairs must not be spread out. Just in case, these people must die. Wang Li and Shui Wuyucheng walked out of the exam site on their own. The cold-faced examiner glanced at the two of them, and said angrily, "It's out, what about your proof?" Wang Li stopped and turned his head to look at the examiner coldly. The cold-faced examiner shuddered all over, and I don't know why he felt fear when he saw Genin's eyes. You need to know which mist shinobi ninja is not crawling out of the dead. If you want to prove it, just go in and take a look. The cold-faced examiner trembled and ran in quickly. When he came out again, his face was cold and frosty, and he said solemnly to a ninja next to him. Hurry up and notify Master Mizuki to come over, that kind of situation is happening again here. Wang Li's original purpose was to get close to 4th Mizuki Gaara, but he didn't expect to see him directly just to kill people. Wang Li didn't worry that Gaara would make trouble for himself. After all, Gaara was controlled by Uchiha Obito at this time to retaliate against the entire Kurigakure. Murderers like Dao Di Li Ren will definitely like it very much. Not long after, a petite figure appeared. His height is about the same as Wang Li. If he weren't wearing Mizuki's robe, Wang Li would never think he was Mizuki. Citrus Tangerine Gaara walked to Wang Li and looked up and down. Then nodded in satisfaction. Yes, with well-developed limbs and murderous eyes in the eyes, if you are trained, you will definitely be an excellent ninja. Citrus Gaara said, taking the information of Dao Di Liren and comparing it up and down. The Momoji family. But good, poor as an orphan. Kodachi Gaara frowned first, then beamed with joy on his face, and waved to a ninja behind him. Kurasuke, you will bring these 2 students. They must be cultivated. Hamsuke nodded hurriedly, and just about to turn around to look for Wang Li, while Gaara grabbed his shoulders directly. Try it out, if there is a problem, kill it, if there is no problem, then bring it to me. Hamsuke walked to Wang Li's face without any expression on his face. But the eyes were full of killing intent. Wang Li shook his heart, very afraid of revealing his identity. If the identity is revealed, then there is only a dead end waiting for Wang Li. You two go with me. Wang Li hesitated for a moment, then bit his head and followed. It was Shui Wuyu Orange, who had already been dazzled by happiness, and shouted one teacher at a time. The three of them came to a small remote corner. Hamsuke stopped, and looked at the two little ghosts seriously. From today, you are Kurigakure's ninjas. But you are still ninjas in name. To become a real ninja, you must complete tasks. As Hamsuke said, he threw a quest scroll over. Terumi Mei. Sure enough, as Terumi Mei said, the two ninjas killed on the beach were eyeliners. People are dead, and they can still send information out. Yes, your first task is to kill Kurigakure's spy Terumi Mei. How can I help? I refuse. Wang Li threw the scroll directly, his face was full of impatience. The mission of a ninja is to obey orders to complete tasks. If you don't complete tasks, is it related to this spy Terumi Mei? Wang Li sneered and strode towards Hamsuke. The first mission is written as C level, but Terumi Mei is a ninja, at least B level. And according to her strength, our dear teacher, you want us to die. Hamsuke was stunned for a moment. Originally, I just wanted to use the word spy and Terumi Mei to test Taoji Liren. If there are gains, maybe even Terumi Mei can be killed. But I didn't expect the Dao Di Liren to react so much, and what he said was reasonable and well-founded, and there was no point to refute it at all. Asshole boy, this is the order from above, you are defying the order. Wang Li suddenly put away his anger, with a meaningful expression on his face. Is that Mr. Mizukage? Seeing that, Taoji Liren became more honest, Hamsuke continued to show a confident smile on his face. Yes, Mizukage-sama asked you to go. Naturally, he makes sense. Is it possible that you want to resist the order? That's not true. I also hate the spies and I can't wait to kill them all. That's good, this task is left to you. There was joy on his face, but he was about to throw the mission scroll to Wang Li. Suddenly a huge faucet came through, biting into the sky and flying into the sky. Orange, give me ice escape. Orange hesitated, but when he saw Wang Li's murderous expression, his body involuntarily used Bing Dun. For a time, the huge water dragon was continuously spread by the ice escape, and it took less than a few seconds to completely turn into a work of art. Stop it. At a time, 3 ninjas jumped out, smashed the ice dragon to pieces, and rescued Kangzuo. The first reaction of Kangsuke being rescued was not to thank, but to drew out a team and ran towards Wang Li without any speed. Want to kill me, die for me. Wang Li sneered, took out 3 shurikens, and threw them out forcefully. After dropping them several times, there were about 12 shurikens in the air. Shuriken keeps colliding and changing trajectory in the air. Kangsuke had never seen such a powerful shuriken technique before, and immediately picked up Kuwuwu and looked around. Actually, I don't know any shuriken techniques at all. Those are all littered, but this one is the real fatal thing. Suddenly Wang Li's voice came from behind Hamsuke, and then he felt a chill in his back. How is it possible? Why are you so fast? Hamsuke felt the loss of vitality in his body, and fell to the ground feebly. Stop it! Yagura roared and ran towards Wang Li quickly. However, instead of stopping, Wang Li gave a few stings in succession. I told you to stop and didn't hear it. Citrus orange Yagura's face was unusually angry, and her hands trembled with anger. Wang Li didn't panic at all when he saw that Yagura was coming. Instead, he was pleased and said solemnly, Master Yagura, you are finally here. This guy must be a betrayer. He wants to let the newcomer from the ninja school to assassinate the ninja. This is not for us to die. Citrus Yagura's mouth twitched. According to the truth, the students who came out of the ninja school could only find the lost cats and dogs, and at most they would kill the bandits outside the village. What Wang Li just said is also reasonable. However, Kotochio Yagura sent Hamsuke over, just to test the loyalty of the two. Who knows that loyalty has not been tested, and he has lost his life first. Okay, Teodi Liren Shuiwayuchung, you two did the right thing. If you encounter this situation next time, you can just kill it. Citrus Yagura turned his head to the ninja next to him and whispered, Songgang, you go to test the bone age of the Teodi Liren. If there is no problem, then bring it to my office, but if the bone age and age do not match, give I killed it. Yes, Master Mizukage. All the others left, only Songgang was left watching Wang Li carefully. Matsuoka knew very well in his heart that his strength was similar to that of Hamsuke, except that he was special Jonin. If you really anger the Dao Di Liren in front of you, you will definitely not escape death. Liren, you just heard that. Master Mizukage asked me to test for you. Don't think of me as a traitor. Wang Li's in Chunin couldn't help laughing. It has been rumored that Kurigakure's ninja is bloody and cruel, but I didn't expect it to be so scared. However, it can be seen that there are really no talents around Yagura. Those who can be sent out to do things are at best Chunin's strength. The real masters are almost all in several big families. As for Yagura's ability to maintain the state in the blood mist, the first is that he has a large number of ninja support. Although the quality is not good, you can win by quantity. The second is that all the big families have swept their doors, and they have no intention of cooperating at all. When Yagura arrives at the door, it is too late to ask for foreign aid. The third is that Yagura is strong enough to pervert. As the rare ninja who can perfectly control the tail beast, Yagura is almost endless. It is almost impossible to assassinate him. Songgang conducted a simple test on Wang Li, and after 3 times, it was revealed that Wang Li was 12 or 13 years old. Water Wuyu Orange is even more of no problem. After the test, Songgang squeezed a cold sweat, and then solemnly said to Wang Li, "Come with me, Master Mizukage is waiting for you." When I came to Mizukage's office, Yagura was dealing with government affairs. When Wang Li and others came in, I couldn't help but shine. It seems that you have passed the test, so I will just announce that you two will enter Anbu and carry out the secret mission of the village from now on. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.